Li Kuei took 500 soldiers and headed off to Water Margin Mountain. Sorry, Liangshan. To set up our new bandit outpost. And I do mean bandit. The second that man hung up the Water Margin sign, he grabbed his axes and went on an absolute wildlife massacre. Every living creature on that mountain got introduced to Li Kuei's personal philosophy. If it moves, it's dinner. Then he threw a massive feast. Just him and the boys, eating like they'd never seen food before. I only found out because my system started pinging me with soldier upgrade notifications. Pulled up my true sight eye and saw the aftermath. Li Kuei sitting on a pile of bones, surrounded by meat-drunk soldiers who'd all hit level 2 from the slaughter. Look, I sent him there to be a highway robber. That's literally the job description. But watching him operate. Yeah, this guy cannot be left unsupervised. I need more high-level summons to get some competent commanders. Li Kuei's great at violence. Leadership? Not so much. But whatever, no immediate danger. Can't exactly send someone to be a bandit and then complain they're acting uncivilized. That's like, doing the thing and then trying to build the monument. You know what I mean. So I'm walking around the barracks, mentally planning my territory expansion strategy. Gotta hit level 5 fast, build a military city, all that good stuff. When I hear the most suspicious conversation of all time coming from around the corner. Officer Tai, please, just cut me once. 1/. I'm begging you, just try it. I can't face the Lord like this. That's Nyoair. Begging Temujin to stab him. And Temujin, bless his Mongol heart, is trying to be reasonable. Brother Nyo, my surname isn't Tai. Please just call me Temujin. And I absolutely cannot cut you. Go talk to the Lord about this. Translation. I'm afraid I'll kill you, bro. I stepped out with my best intimidation face. Nyoair, what did you do now? The man turned red. A giant, battle-scarred warrior. Blushing. Spit it out. You're a grown man built like a refrigerator. Stop acting shy. He scratched his head. So, remember that third demon lair we cleared? After I killed the boss, this black mark appeared on my arm. Doesn't hurt. Doesn't itch. Just won't come off. I had a very bad feeling about this. I rolled up his sleeve and sure enough, inverted black triangle, oozing dark mist. Classic tracking mark. You've been tagged with a tracking seal. That third layer had a headquarters above it. Tracking. Nyoair's face went from embarrassed to horrified. Does that mean they know where Huaxia territory is? Yeah. Lord, I'm so sorry. I'll leave right now. I'll run far away and never come back. I smacked him upside the head. You exposed my location and you think I'm gonna let you leave? Where exactly do you think you're going? The man looked like he was about to cry. This absolute unit of a human being on the verge of tears. I swear I'll die on the battlefield for you, my lord. Okay, drama queen, save it. Here's the plan. You stay inside the territory. Temujin, take some of your Mongol cavalry brothers and Zhang San. Scout 1,000 miles out. Find every demon lair you can. If the tracking mark hasn't faded yet, their headquarters can't be too far. Temujin saluted and marched off. Professional as always. Love that guy. I turned back to Nyoair. Stop crying. Get your boys ready. We've got some serious fighting coming up. Here's the thing. Getting tagged is actually perfect timing. I was going to start my demon lair offensive anyway. Mid-tier territory levels 4 through 6 are the sweet spot for army building. Once you hit high tier, wars are measured in the tens of thousands. Most lords wait until level 6 to start stockpiling troops because the jump from 6 to 7 takes forever. But my talent means I level up fast, so I need to build my army now. More lairs means more resource points, more summons, more reputation. And I need commanders, lots of them. Once Huaxia territory scales up, I can't micromanage everything. The generals handle the wars, I handle the big picture. That's the dream. You found out where I live? Cool. That just means your life got shorter. Then my true sight I pinged again. Demon scouts. Already inside detection range. Wow, revenge delivery is fast these days. Amazon Prime couldn't compete. These scouts were higher quality than anything I'd seen before. They kept flickering in and out of visibility, some kind of stealth skill. My true sight only catches hidden units inside my territory, so they were playing a dangerous game at the edges. But when I got a good look at them, oh, 6 legs, 2 wings, bodies black as polished obsidian, with dark purple triangles glowing on their foreheads. They could fly low and vanish midair. And their front 2 legs? shaped like scythes. Literal biological sickle blades that were slicing through boulders like butter, leaving surfaces smoother than a mirror. I licked my lips. Higher level means higher tier summon drops. I watched those scythe legs carve through solid rock like it was warm cheese. Also, those claws are going to sell for a lot of money. I was literally in the middle of tracking demon scouts when my Lord Seal went off with zero warning. Emergency. Century catastrophe approaching. All lords read the following 5 points. 1. 365 days until the century catastrophe hits. 2. Difficulty scales based on your territory's strength. 3. 10 days before it arrives, a power ranking leaderboard drops for all territories. 4. More random secret realms will open across the 9 provinces. 5. After 100 days, qualifying lords can found a nation and receive heaven's fortune blessing. I opened the communication channel and immediately regretted it. The chat was a dumpster fire. The catastrophe is coming. What even is a century catastrophe? I lost half my soldiers in the first wave attack. How am I supposed to survive this? This is so unfair to us new lords. Other lords have been developing for years, and we've been here barely over a year. Most of us just hit level 4. How is this balanced? Bro above me. You got eyes, or are they decorative? It literally says difficulty adjusts based on territory strength. Those 2 giant lines of text. Can you read? Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. The world is ending and people are arguing about reading comprehension. Between all the screaming and crying, a few smart ones actually caught the important part. Am I the only one who noticed we can build a nation in 100 days? This century catastrophe is different from previous ones. Wait, previous ones? How many of these have you survived, you absolute monster? Meanwhile, all across the 9 provinces continent, the big dogs were making their moves. Over in the frozen hellscape of Mo's Snow province, some creepy old man sitting on a giant white wolf opened his eyes, one of which had this unsettling white spot that made him look like a villain from every horror story ever. He read the notification, thought for about 3 seconds, then rode his wolf toward the mountains behind him. And as he moved, the entire, empty, snowfield lit up with red eyes. Hundreds of thousands of white wolves. Just sitting there the whole time. Waiting. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. Not terrifying at all. In the center of Central Province, inside the biggest, most ridiculous super city on the continent, tens of thousands of miles wide, population over 10 million, some dude in a golden robe read the notification, shoved aside the concubine he was drinking with, ripped a golden sword called the Sword of Kings off his wall, and started cackling like a maniac. Found a nation. Become king. My ancestors didn't lie to me. Ah, sir, please. Your indoor voice. Over on the endless grasslands of Han Province, separated from Central Province by a whole sea, a tribal warlord on horseback just turned to his attendant and said, dead calm, cancel the rest day. We march tomorrow. Speed up unifying the grasslands. No dramatic laughter. No sword pulling. Just pure business. Honestly, that guy scares me more than the laughing maniac. Every major region, Green Province, Thunder Province, Cloud Province, the 100,000 Mountains, the Endless Ocean, the Shattered Star Archipelago, the heavy hitters were all mobilizing. Previous century catastrophes were apparently just massive beast and demon attacks you had to survive. But this one was different. There was the mysterious leaderboard nobody understood yet. And then the big one. Found a nation. Receive heaven's fortune. See, lords on this continent have always just been lords, big ones and small ones, fighting over territory. But now you could become a king. With divine backing. Small lords were terrified. Big lords were licking their chops. And me? The transmigrative? I saw what nobody else seemed to be saying out loud. This world is about to go absolutely insane. Before this, sure, there was fighting. But it was casual fighting. Tuesday fighting. Now there's a crown on the table. Every powerful lord is going to accelerate their conquest. And the peaceful lords who just wanted to farm and chill? Sorry, buddy. You're getting dragged into the war whether you like it or not. You don't go out hunting? Someone comes hunting you. Total chaos. Unavoidable. All I can do is use my talent to develop fast, build up strength, and make sure when this storm hits, my people survive it. Oh, and it's not just humans who got this memo. Deep underground in the western regions, the Goblin King, wearing an orange robe and a faded crown, was addressing his purple-robed and red-robed goblin nobles. Our buddy Luo was right there, kneeling with the rest. "You've all received the news," the Goblin King said. "This opportunity to become a true king isn't limited to human lords. All races on the continent qualify. The goblin race once tamed dragons. I expect us to seize this moment. Send our people out. Build relationships with human lords and native powerhouses. I don't want to hear bad news about our race." Dismissed. "Yes, Father King." Then the old goblin just started laughing to himself. "King." "Yes, King." Luo walked out in silence, ignoring his goblin siblings, clutching his crystal and thinking thoughts I couldn't read. That little guy is always scheming something. Meanwhile, in demon territory, some demon lord was lounging around stroking a succubus's face when his commander asked, "My lord, the humans will start fighting each other now. Should we launch a massive attack?" The demon lord, still staring dreamily at the succubus, "Something this beautiful deserves more watching time. Order all demon leaders to pull troops back 100 miles from the Great Wall. But, yes, my lord. Oh wait, one more thing." The commander turned back. The demon lord flicked his finger. The commander's head popped clean off his body and hit the floor. "From now on, call me Demon King. You may leave." YSSIR. The headless commander, still alive somehow, because demons are built different, picked up his own head, tucked it under his arm, walked out, coughed up a mouthful of black blood from the severed head, lost his human disguise, reverted to his true demon form, and had to be carried away by servants. Management style, aggressive. HR complaints, 0, because HR is also decapitated. And somewhere by a great river, a white-haired old man in a straw rain cloak released a 3-foot fish back into the water, reeled in his fishing rod, which had no hook on it, and walked off into the distance. Deep in the 100,000 mountains, a young man in simple cloth clothes and cloth shoes looked up at the flickering stars. This day has finally come. Yeah, cool. Very mysterious. Very dramatic. Meanwhile, I'm over here with a guy who has a demon tracking mark on his arm, scythe-legged bug monsters circling my territory, and 365 days until the apocalypse. No pressure. While the entire 9 provinces continent was losing its collective mind over the century catastrophe announcement, I was over here doing what I do best, making moves. "Temujin, take your guys and wipe out that shadow mantis lair." "Yes, my lord." These past few days, Temujin and Zhang San had been running all over the place scouting the area around my territory. My map had expanded massively. Zhang San, blessed that meticulous little scout, had marked every demon lair, beast nest, location, level, and estimated strength with the precision of a man who genuinely enjoys spreadsheets. The target today? Those creepy shadow mantises that sent scouts to my doorstep. Born assassins, high attack, insane speed, stealth abilities, and at least level 5 or higher since they had subordinate lairs under them. Oh, and they're the ones who slapped that tracking mark on Yoair's arm. So this was personal and strategic. With the century catastrophe clock ticking, I couldn't afford to slow down. Hit the mantises first, then just keep swinging through every layer on the map. War after war after war. 1 year sounds like a lot, but for what I needed to accomplish, every single day mattered. My biggest problem right now was resources. Not enough of anything. Not enough people, not enough soldiers, not enough money. My self-production capacity wasn't going to magically jump overnight. Only option? War economy. Take what I need from demon lairs. The 3 lairs I'd already conquered were generating 100,000 resource points daily, every single point going straight into the barracks to pump out soldiers. Hella's blacksmith shop was bringing in decent income too, which I funneled into infrastructure. But there was a bottleneck. Enchanted weapons were selling like crazy. Infinite demand, never enough supply. Problem was, I didn't have any special attribute materials for Hella to work with. Remember that frost blade we made to kill the purple-skinned demon rat? I had to buy the ice attribute or from other lords through the trading panel, give it to Helu, let him forge the enchanted weapon, then sell the weapon at a higher price. Middleman economics. It worked, but buying specialty or at premium prices was eating into my margins. I'd sent people to survey 100 miles in every direction looking for mineral deposits. Found absolutely nothing. Not even regular or, let alone the special attribute stuff. My territory was sitting on geological emptiness. Just dirt all the way down, apparently. So for now, the play was, buy expensive or forge expensive weapons, sell even more expensive weapons. Not elegant, but profitable. My lord, Helu the blacksmith requests an audience. Send them in. Speak of the devil. I was literally just thinking about how to squeeze more money out of Helu's operation. And here he comes walking through the door. 3 Helu, the lead 1+2 assistants, bowing with fists clasped. What brings you here? The lead Helu waved his hand. The 2 behind him stepped forward and presented me with 2 blood-red stones. I picked them up, turning them over in my hands. Weird texture. Deep crimson. Almost pulsing. My lord, I found these unusual mineral stones by the lake within our territory. I searched through every ancestral text I have, and I've confirmed. These are bloodthirst stones. Purple grade mineral. I nearly dropped them. Purple grade? In this world, everything gets ranked the same way as summons. And purple grade minerals? That's the kind of wealth that makes even high-level lords drool. 1 second I'm stressing about not having special ores. The next second, my own blacksmith walks in and tells me there's a purple grade mineral deposit in my own backyard. If this isn't the universe handing me a pillow right when I'm about to fall asleep, I don't know what is. Show me. Now, I practically dragged Helu to the lake. My lord, see those red stones along the shore? Now look down. In the shallow water, you can see deep crimson cracks running down into the lake bed. I looked. Sure enough, dark red fissures spreading across the bottom of the lake like veins, disappearing into the depths. How big is this deposit? Because if someone tells you, congratulations, you're rich, but then adds, there's about enough for 2 swords, that's not wealth, that's a cruel joke. Hela thought carefully. Based on my experience, conservative estimate, the entire lake bed is sitting on top of it. And it runs deep. Good, good, good. I said, good. So many times I sounded like a broken NPC. But seriously, this was massive. This wasn't just solving my enchantment material shortage. This was a game changer for all of Huaxia territory. I could equip my own troops with enchanted weapons and sell the surplus for enormous profits. Every lord on this continent needs special ores. Supply was about to meet demand, and I was the supply. Huaxia territory is about to enter a whole new era of development. My lord. About the mining situation, and there it was. The cold water on my bonfire of excitement. Right. Mining. I can't actually mine anything until level 5 unlocks the industrial department. Until then, my only option would be hiring specialized mining teams from other lords. For regular or, sure, whatever. But purple grade special minerals? Hand my treasure map to strangers? In this political climate? With every lord sharpening their swords for conquest? Plus, the second I hire outside miners, my territory coordinates are exposed. Might as well paint a giant target on my forehead. I'll figure out the mining problem. Get back to work and send Zhang San to me. Zhang San arrived promptly. I needed a status report. How many registered citizens does Huaxia territory have? Not counting soldiers. My lord, with the recent influx of merchant caravans, adventurers, and natives, plus the 1,800 people we rescued from Red Fong Stronghold who've all been registered, and after screening all new applicants, current registered population stands at 5,000. 5,000. Not bad for a few days. But level 5 required 20,000 citizens. I wasn't even close. Zhang San read my face and offered, should we lower the citizenship requirements? That would increase numbers quickly. Huh. Lower the requirements. Yeah, about that. See, getting citizenship in Huaxia territory was basically harder than getting into an Ivy League school. Sure, Qian's intelligence bureau would dig into your family history going back 18 generations. First, to make sure you weren't a spy from another lord or some demon collaborator. Second, because I firmly believe that more people doesn't mean better people. I'd rather have a smaller population of decent folks than a massive one full of troublemakers. Imagine leading your army into battle and getting a notification that your own territory is on fire because some idiot you let in decided to start problems. I'd rather die. So anyone with a sketchy background, criminal tendencies, or bad attitude. Rejected. People were literally calling Huaxia territory the hardest place on the continent to get citizenship. But the benefits were incredible. I'd basically imported free universal education and social welfare from my previous life. So once you were in, life was pretty great. Population isn't something we can rush. Keep the standards. Moving on, what's the development situation inside the territory? 5 different merchant caravans are currently trading within Huaxia territory. Adventurers and wanderers number in the tens of thousands. Wang Dinglu has expanded the tavern multiple times, and the inn is getting overcrowded. Also, a few troublemakers showed up recently. After we expelled them from the territory, Commander Li Kuei intercepted and killed them at the foot of Liangshan Mountain. I nodded. Good. More people means more problems, but that's what Li Kuei's toll booth is for. Give the criminals a lesson they won't forget. I'll personally handle the tavern and an expansion, and tell the logistics department to tighten up supply management. Anything we're running low on, report to me immediately. Li Kuei out there functioning as my quality control department. You get kicked out of Huaxia territory, you don't just leave. You get the axe welcome party on your way out. Brutal? Yes. Effective? Also yes. Nobody was causing trouble twice. After Zhang Sen left, I received a battle report from the front lines. Commander, one of the Mongol cavalry squad leaders dropped to a knee in front of Temujin. We've confirmed. The shadow mantises can only stay invisible for 20 seconds per use. 20 seconds. That's their whole trick. And Temujin? He cracked that puzzle in about 5. Listen up. We attack in 2 waves. First wave, put away the bows, charge in like we're going melee. When they pop stealth, pull back immediately. Do not engage. The second they reappear, activate skills and unleash ranged fire. Their defense is garbage. One-shot kills. Don't give them a chance to vanish twice. And spread out in groups of 3 to 5 on both flanks. Surround the lair. Nothing escapes. Yes, SIR. Cold. Calculated. Beautiful. I was back at base when the notifications hit. Your Mongol cavalry has destroyed a demon lair. Congratulations. Successfully converted 1 demon lair. Daily output. 200,000 resource points. 200,000 a day. That's double anything I've gotten before. My heart was already racing. A lair this powerful meant whatever was inside had to be seriously high level, which meant the summon drop could be insane. Here's the thing about shadow mantises. They're a nightmare for most lords. An entire species of assassins with high attack, high speed, and stealth. Most people would send their best warriors and still get carved up. Even my berserkers, who are purple tier level 3 troops, would have had a rough time. But the shadow mantises had the cosmic misfortune of running into a gold tier commander leading a 6-star cavalry unit. The Mongol cavalry could tank hits, deal damage, and kite enemies at range. It was like sending a Navy SEAL team to handle a bar fight. The familiar thunder of hooves announced their return. The cavalry rode in carrying piles of shadow mantis corpses strapped to their horses. Thank God the military district is separated from the civilian area. If the merchant caravans saw a level 4 territory casually hauling in mountains of high-level demon corpses, they'd either faint or start running. My lord, the Mongol cavalry has returned. Total victory. Temujin, I know what your boys can do. That's exactly why I sent you. We exchanged a few pleasantries, then I got to the real question. So, the summon drops? Temujin's face went serious. Dead serious. My lord, strictly speaking. The shadow mantises didn't drop any summons. What? My stomach dropped. A lair this powerful and nothing dropped? How was that even possible? I could feel my eyebrows crunching together hard enough to crack a walnut. Then Temujin smiled. This man, this stone-faced, battle-hardened Mongol warrior who I've never seen crack a joke in his life, actually smiled. He reached into a bag and pulled something out. Oh, orange. My brain short-circuited. I'd been hoping for something high-level. Purple maybe. Maybe gold if I was dreaming big. But orange? Orange summon items were the ceiling. The absolute top tier. On a continent where gold tier generals were practically mythical, orange was the stuff of legend. Top-level lords would start wars over one of these. And it was just sitting in Temujin's bag. Like groceries. I slapped him on the shoulder. You've changed, you know that? When you first got here, you were all stoic warrior, never smile, kill everything energy. Now you're setting up dramatic reveals and playing pranks on me. He just smiled again without saying anything. But I could tell. This time at Huaxia territory had gotten to him. The man grew up on the grasslands being hunted, surrounded by nothing but violence and survival. Kill or be killed every single day. But here, everyone had food. Everyone had education. Everyone had purpose. I think seeing a leader who was ruthless to enemies but genuinely cared about his own people. It changed something in him. Not enough to stop him from trolling me, apparently. My lord, the mantises genuinely didn't drop any summons. We found this orange summon item inside their nest. It was stored there. So it was loot they'd been hoarding. I rolled the triangular orange crystal between my fingers. Didn't matter how we got it. An orange summon item was the biggest jackpot possible. I was so short on commanders right now, my hands were practically shaking. I needed to get this thing onto the hero altar immediately. Orange summon items can produce generals across 5 different tiers. The chance of actually getting an orange tier general was the smallest, but I had to roll those dice. I dragged Temujin along with me to the altar. Having a gold tier general present had to be worth some luck, right? Like a good luck charm, made of Mongolian steel and horse sweat. I placed the orange crystal onto the hero altar with both hands, delicate as a brain surgeon. Then I began my summoning ritual. Me and the boys have big dreams. Buddha bless us. Mystical forces won't save the unworthy, and wailing won't change your fate. Luck gods possess me. Bad luck begone. Brute force creates miracles. I will trade the entire Chun family's bloodline for 1 orange general. This is an orange summon item. Don't you dare. Give me some white or blue trash. Per complete. I slammed the summon button with the force of a man whose entire financial future depended on a gacha pull. The hero altar erupted in blinding light. My heart crawled up into my throat and set up camp there. And then, that sound. That beautiful, beautiful system chime I hadn't heard in ages. Ding. Congratulations. Summon successful. Obtained a 4-star red tier general. Talent. 100-fold critical. Triggered. Upgraded to 5-star orange tier general. Red to orange. My talent did it again. I put in an orange crystal, got a red general, and my busted cheat ability said, "Nah, let me fix that for you," and maxed it out. 5 stars. Orange tier. The rarest thing on this entire continent. Just casually sitting in my summoning altar like it was no big deal. The hero altar flashed white, and out stepped a young man in fancy robes with long black hair. His face had this cold, calculating look, like he already knew every move you were going to make before you made it. The second he appeared, he smirked and said, "This world. Who knows whose it will become?" Then he walked down from the altar, bowed, and introduced himself. "Sima E greets the Lord." My jaw hit the floor. Sima E? The crouching tiger? The Sima E, for those who don't know, and shame on you if you don't, Sima E was one of the top strategists of the Three Kingdoms era. This man outlived 3 generations of the Chao family. He just sat there, waiting, scheming, being patient, until everyone else was dead, then swooped in and founded an entire dynasty. The ultimate, last man standing, champion. The guy who won the 3 kingdoms by simply refusing to die first. And he was here, in MY territory, orange tier, 5 stars. My luck has literally exploded. I pulled up his stats and nearly passed out. Attack, 2,000. Defense, 2,000. Can command 600 soldiers. Intelligence, 800. Classified as peerless strategist. Political ability, 1,000. Diplomacy, 1,000. But the skills. Oh, the skills. First skill, genius. After Sima Yi's forces destroy an enemy unit, he automatically discovers 2 more enemy units nearby and gets complete intelligence on them. Location, strength, composition, everything. Just handed to you on a silver platter. No scouting needed. No guessing. Beat 1 enemy. Immediately know where the next 2 are and everything about them. Do you understand how broken that is? With the century catastrophe coming in a year, and my talent letting me speedrun territory upgrades, this skill alone was worth the orange crystal. Second skill, chain break. After destroying an enemy unit, if another enemy is within 50 miles, his entire army instantly restores to 100% condition. Full health, full stamina, ready to fight again immediately. Combine that with genius. Beat 1 enemy. Discover 2 more. Army fully healed. Go fight the next one. Beat that one. Discover 2 more. Army healed again. It's an infinite combo. A war blender. Just keep feeding enemies in and the machine never stops. Third skill, equilibrium. When facing an enemy of higher level, drag them down to your level for the fight. Equal playing field, forced. Higher level than me? Don't care. You're my level now. Deal with it. These 3 skills together were absolutely disgusting. Chain them up, and you get destroy enemy, find 2 more enemies with full intel army, fully healed enemy too strong. Equalize levels, destroy again, repeat forever. It's not a strategy, it's a war crime. And I thought it couldn't get better. Then I read skill 4. Foresight. Once battle progress reaches 30%, Xia Yu can predict the next 5% of battlefield developments. Activates again every 20% progress after that. 5% doesn't sound like much until you think about it. In a battle lasting 100 minutes, after 30 minutes, he can see what happens from minute 30 to 35. At minute 50, he sees 50 to 55. For total activations per battle. In small skirmishes, it's useful. In massive wars that last months or years, he'd be predicting events days or weeks in advance. Late game, war god material. 5th skill, enduring patience. When his troops take damage and don't retaliate, every hit adds 50% to their base stats. And each time it triggers, it unlocks one of 5 additional subskills for his soldiers. After 4 triggers, all 5 subskills activate at once. The man's entire kit was built around being patient, taking punishment, getting stronger, then obliterating everything. Which is exactly how the historical Xia Yu operated. He literally waited for everyone else to die of old age, and then took over. I grabbed his hands and pulled him up from his bow so fast I probably gave him whiplash. Zhongda, please rise. He maintained that calm, knowing smile. Young, prime of his life Xia Yu. Black hair, straight back, radiating confidence, and that specific brand of arrogance that comes from being smarter than everyone in the room and knowing it. Getting you is my fortune, I said, meaning every word. Xia Yu gave a modest little laugh. My lord flatters me. With a gold-tier general like Officer Temujin already here, I'm merely adding a small decoration to Huaxia territory. Humble words, but that smirk said otherwise. He already knew everything about Huaxia territory the moment he was summoned. Of course he did. He's Xia Yu. Zhongda, you're too modest. Huaxia territory is desperate for a peerless strategist like you. And I wasn't exaggerating. Temujin was incredible on the battlefield, but he was a warrior, not an administrator. The berserkers were attack-type troops. My big summon hall gave me Li Kuei's bandit squad. Emphasis on bandit. The closest thing I had to an administrator was Zhang San, a scout captain I'd been forcing to do paperwork. I'd been drowning in internal affairs. Territory management, population logistics, trade regulation, infrastructure planning, all on me. I had 9 cat-eared maids at home and hadn't even had time to look at them properly. That's how busy I was. 9 cat-eared maids, and I was too busy doing paperwork. But now, a peerless strategist with maxed-out political and diplomatic abilities who could serve as military advisor on campaigns and handle government affairs at home? I was so excited I almost started crying. Xia Yu, present. I hereby appoint you military strategist of the barracks and administrative officer. I accept with gratitude, my lord. Look, Huaxia territory was only level 4. The official positions available were embarrassingly limited, giving Xia Yu, a 5-star orange-tier legendary strategist, the title of barracks advisor/paperwork guy, was like hiring Einstein to teach kindergarten math. But it was all I had right now. Don't worry, Zhongda. I'll get you a title worthy of those skills soon enough. Just, please, take some of this paperwork off my desk. I'm begging you. Xia Yu got to work immediately. The second I gave him his appointments, the system notifications rolled in. Your new administrative officer increases construction speed by 20%. Your new military strategist boosts all soldier base stats by 10%. Better bonuses than Eugene across the board. So Eugene got bumped down to disciplinary duty. Sorry, buddy. You've been outranked by a man who literally ended the 3 kingdoms by being more patient than death itself. Eugene took it well, though. Just quietly went to go yell at soldiers about their posture or whatever. Now came the important part, filling Xia Yu's roster with his personal troops. Here's how it works. Temujin, being a 6-star gold general, can just convert regular soldiers into Mongol cavalry for free. Because of course he can. He's broken. But everyone below 6-star gold has to use their own personal barracks and spend resources to produce specialty troops. Xia Yu's soldiers? 5-star troops. 3,000 resource points per soldier. 600 soldiers to fill his command capacity. That's 1.8 million resource points. I stared at that number for a solid minute. My wallet was screaming. But then I thought about it. 4 conquered demon lairs pumping out 300,000 resource points daily, plus an entire lake sitting on top of a purple-grade bloodthirst stone deposit. I'd be fine. Probably. Hopefully. I dumped 1.8 million into Xia Yu's barracks and hit produce. The system chimed. Congratulations. You have obtained 5-star troop type, Qingzhou soldiers. Then 5 more notifications in a row. Your Qingzhou soldiers have gained the skill, Exile. Your Qingzhou soldiers have gained the skill, Collective Wisdom. Your Qingzhou soldiers have gained the skill, Wolf's Gaze. Your Qingzhou soldiers have gained the skill, Chain Break. Your Qingzhou soldiers have gained the skill, Perfect Kill. 5 skills. Chain Break carried over from Xia Yu himself. The other 4 were tied to his Enduring Patience, passive. They only activated after the Qingzhou soldiers got hit, which meant I needed to actually read these carefully. Because at first glance, a troop whose abilities only trigger when they're getting beaten up sounds questionable. Exile. When attacked, the enemy's morale drops by 50% and their soldiers become mentally scattered. So you hit my guys and your army starts falling apart? Beautiful. Collective Wisdom. When attacked, Qingzhou soldiers recover 20% HP and their morale increases by 50%. You're punching me, and I'm getting healthier and more excited about it? What kind of psycho soldiers are these? Wolf's Gaze. When attacked, all base stats double. You're making me stronger by hitting me. Please, keep going. I insist. Perfect Kill. When Qingzhou soldiers are on the brink of death from enemy attacks, they recover 50% HP and all enemy healing abilities are permanently disabled. So you've been wailing on my troops this whole time. Your morale is in the gutter, your soldiers can't focus, and now you finally almost kill my guys. And they just heal back up while your healing gets shut off forever. And you can't recover from any of the damage you've taken? These soldiers were masochists. Professional, weaponized masochists. Their entire combat philosophy was, hit me daddy, followed by, now it's my turn. Let me paint the full picture of fighting Qingzhou soldiers. Round 1. You attack. Their morale goes up. Your morale goes down. They heal. You don't. Round 2. You attack again because what else can you do? Their stats double. Your soldiers are losing their minds. Round 3. You're desperate now. You throw everything at them. You almost kill them. They heal again. And now your healing is gone forever. Round 4. They finally hit back. With doubled stats. Full morale. Against your demoralized, scattered, healing disabled army. It's not a battle. It's a trap. The entire fight is a trap designed by history's greatest schemer, and you walked right into it the moment you threw the first punch. And don't forget, Xia Yu's personal skill, Equilibrium, drags higher-level enemies down to his level, which perfectly prevents anyone from one-shotting the Qingzhou soldiers before their passive chain kicks in. He literally designed his army to be unkillable so they could absorb maximum punishment and then release everything at once. I looked at the stat page, then looked at Xia Yu, then looked at the stat page again. Even after getting Temujin and his ridiculous Mongol cavalry, even after seeing 6-star troop power firsthand, this still amazed me. Every skill linked into the next one like clockwork. An interlocking chain of, you're screwed, that only got worse the longer you fought. It was like watching a grandmaster chess game, where every move was already planned 20 turns ahead. Zhongda, your soldiers are absolutely terrifying. Oh, they're nothing special, he said with a modest wave. His mouth said humble. His eyes said, I know. I made them that way. I also noticed the Qingzhou soldiers were primarily infantry, shields and spears. That actually filled a gap in my lineup. Temujin had cavalry covered. The berserkers handled shock assault. Now I had elite heavy infantry too. Warrior general, Temujin. Master strategist, Xia Yu. My 2 biggest needs, both filled. I shoved an enormous pile of administrative work onto Xia Yu's desk. Here you go. Zhongda, welcome to Huaxia territory. Your first mission is paperwork. And for the first time in what felt like forever, I actually had free time. So I did something I hadn't done since arriving in this world. I went for a walk through my own territory, and my jaw nearly hit the cobblestones. The place was packed. Streets that used to be empty were overflowing with people. Merchants shouting, customers haggling, kids running around. The smell of street food everywhere. It was alive. I disguised my appearance and wandered around as a regular guy. Grabbed some 9 provinces street food, and honestly, pretty good. The food street concept I'd imported from Earth was absolutely destroying these local taste buds. These natives had never seen a dedicated food street before. One road, every cuisine, eat your way from one end to the other. Right next to it, shopping street. Bright displays, helpful salespeople, the whole experience. People walked in with full purses and walked out with empty ones and huge smiles. Classic retail therapy works in any dimension. Huaxia territory had become famous for 3 things across the region. First, our social welfare system. People were literally scheming ways to pass our impossible citizenship test just to get the benefits. Second, Helu's enchanted weapons. Every adventurer and lord wanted one. Third, our commercial district. No one else had anything like it. All 3 working together created a pipeline. People heard about us, came to shop or trade, fell in love with the place, and tried to stay permanently. The merchants brought wealth, the adventurers brought buzz, and the citizens brought stability. Standing there in the middle of that bustling street, cup of wine in hand, I felt something I hadn't felt since transmigrating here. Pride. Real, genuine pride. I finished my drink and tossed a gold ingot to the food stall owner. Sir, this is way too much. Let me get your change. I was already walking away, waving over my shoulder. Big spender energy. Felt good. Then someone behind me said, "Was that the Lord?" What? The Lord? Where? Where? Oh no. Turns out I'm not great at disguises when I'm casually throwing gold around. Word spread through the street like wildfire. People started pouring in from everywhere. These were folks whose lives I'd changed, given them jobs, fed their kids, put them in schools, kept them safe from monsters. And their Lord was apparently a mythical creature they'd heard about, but never actually seen. It's really him. It's really the Lord. Then one father grabbed his son, shoved the kid to his knees, and started yelling, "Bow. This is the man who saved your father's life. You eat meat every day and go to school because of him." Bonk, bonk, bonk. 3 full kowtows from the kid without hesitation. And that opened the floodgates. One person knelt, then 10, then the entire street was on their knees, crying, thanking me, swearing eternal loyalty, offering to be my servants forever. This was not the plan. I came out here for street food, not a coronation ceremony. I activated my level 4 Lord base stats and sprinted out of there. Regular civilians couldn't keep up with my speed, thankfully. I escaped like a man fleeing his own surprise birthday party. But apparently even after I left, the kneeling didn't stop. When word got out that the Lord had visited that specific street, families from all over the territory came to kneel there too. It went on for 5 straight hours. They turned my lunch break into a holiday. I thought today was going to be my day off. My first day off. I was going to drink tea, relax, maybe actually breathe for once. I took exactly 1 sip of morning tea before Xia Yu showed up at my door. "Zhongda, it's barely dawn. What's wrong?" "Internal affairs problems already." He bowed politely. "Apologies for the early disturbance, my lord. But no, the internal affairs are handled. I finished everything last night by candlelight. Just a few decisions that need your personal approval. I'm here about something else." I almost spit out my tea. "Wait. Back up. You finished everything. Let me explain what everything means." I had given this man a week's worth of backlog. And not simple stuff either. Since Huaxia territory wasn't level 5 yet, we didn't have most government offices or departments. Which meant everything, and I mean everything, landed on my desk. Petty theft disputes, dealing with local thugs, city planning, military troop quotas, supply chain logistics, writing laws. Every tiny and enormous problem in the entire territory got funneled directly to me. And with our territory getting famous, the flood of newcomers had made it 10 times worse. Xia Yu did all of it in one night. "Zhongda, you truly are a peerless strategist." "Oh, I'm merely experienced," he said with a humble bow. "The truly remarkable thing is how much you accomplished before I arrived, my lord. Building a territory to this level in such a short time. Now that is rare." Okay, enough flattery. What did you actually come here for, my lord?" The century catastrophe approaches. While the damage scales to territory level, I believe we must aggressively increase our strength to survive the coming chaos. I agree completely. So what's your plan? Huaxia territory currently has strong forces, high morale, and loyal citizens. This is the perfect moment to launch military campaigns. However, most of our soldiers sit idle in the barracks, only deploying after Temujin and Zhang Xin scout targets and develop plans. Time is being wasted. He laid out his strategy. Leave the berserkers to guard the territory. Split the Mongol cavalry and Qingzhou soldiers into two separate armies and send them out to crush demon lairs and beast nests simultaneously. Since both Temujin's and Sima Yi's skill sets had incredible sustain, Temujin's cavalry could fight indefinitely, and the Qingzhou soldiers literally got stronger the more they got hit. Both armies could stay in the field for extended campaigns, only returning when supplies ran out. This way, we double our conquest speed. And if we encounter other territories along the way, we assess them, take in qualified civilians, and boost our population toward the level 5 upgrade requirements. The sooner you reach level 5, the sooner you're freed from administrative burdens, my lord. I rubbed my chin and thought about it. He was absolutely right. I'd been so buried in paperwork that my military had been sitting around doing push-ups in the barracks. Now that Sima Yi was handling governance, I had no excuse not to go on the offensive. But more importantly, his words made me realize something uncomfortable. I'd been getting cocky. My talent was so overpowered that I'd started thinking I was untouchable. But the only lords I'd been comparing myself to were other level 4 territories. That was like a high school basketball player feeling invincible because he dunked on middle schoolers. The real players, the high-tier and top-tier lords, commanded armies of hundreds of thousands. Their logistics alone would crush my entire territory. Even with Temujin and Sima Yi, if a major lord came knocking right now, I'd get flattened. Not because my generals were weak, but because I simply didn't have enough stuff. Not enough soldiers, not enough supplies, not enough infrastructure. Level was the foundation of everything. Hit level 5, unlock the industrial department, open up government positions, start mining that bloodthirst stone deposit, build branch cities, delegate internal affairs, and then I could focus entirely on expansion and warfare. I'd been so proud of being stronger than my peers that I forgot my peers were ants compared to the real monsters on this continent. I was being short-sighted, I admitted out loud. Rare moment of humility. Don't get used to it. We'll do as you suggest, Zhongda. But one addition, if you encounter a human territory, don't attack immediately. Report back to me first. Can't just punch every lord I meet. Some might be more valuable as trade partners or allies than as conquered enemies. Gotta think like a strategist, not like Li Kuei. As you command, my lord. With business handled, I shooed Sima Yi away. This was supposed to be my vacation day, and I refused to let it be fully hijacked. Then I remembered something I'd been neglecting. The 9 cat-eared sisters. They'd been living in my lord's mansion since I rescued them, and I hadn't taken them anywhere. They'd just been sitting inside for weeks. 9 beautiful cat girls, locked in a mansion, while I did paperwork 16 hours a day. That's not being a lord. That's being a terrible host. Today I'd take them out to see the territory. But first, disguise. After yesterday's kneeling incident, there was no way I was going outside looking like myself. I put on a rough disguise and turned to Cat 1. How's this? Can people still tell it's me? Cat 1 had really blossomed since moving into the mansion. No more worrying about being kidnapped or eaten by monsters. Plenty of good food, zero stress. She looked healthier than ever. She covered her mouth and giggled. My lord, your people adore you so much. Why would you disguise yourself to go outside? I adjusted my fake beard. I know they adore me. That's the problem. Everywhere I go, a mob forms around me. It's suffocating. Now stop laughing and help me fix this disguise. Last time I went out, I got caught, and like 300 old men simultaneously dropped to their knees and started kowtowing at me. Do you know how many years of lifespan that costs? Receiving that many kowtows from elderly people? I aged a decade yesterday. Cat 1 laughed so hard she could barely breathe. She'd heard about the kneeling incident, but apparently the 300 old men detail was news to her. Once she calmed down, she leaned in close to fix my disguise properly. And by close, I mean close. She was bent over right in front of me, adjusting my face, and I suddenly became very aware that the mansion's meal plan had been generous. She noticed me noticing. Her face turned red. She kept working anyway. Professional. I fake coughed and changed the subject immediately. So, are you all settling in okay at the mansion? Thanks to your care, my lord, All 9 of us sisters are living very well. Good, good. But staying cooped up indoors all day must be boring, right? I'm taking all of you out for a walk around the territory today. Before Cat 1 could even respond, Cat 9's head shot through the doorway like a missile. We can go outside. Then she froze. Looked at Cat 1 leaning over me. Looked at my face. Looked back at Cat 1. Wait, what are you two doing? Cat 1 launched herself away from me like I was on fire the second Cat 9 appeared. Then, putting on her best big sister authority voice, she scolded Cat 9. You can't just barge in without the Lord's permission. Where are your manners? Poor Cat 9 looked like a kicked puppy. She shuffled back toward the door, head down. I could tell she was genuinely scared. In this world, a lord could decide their fate with a single word. And apparently human lords had a reputation for being unpredictable and moody. Which is hilarious because I'm from the 21st century. The most feudal thing I ever did back on Earth was skip the line at a coffee shop. Little 9, come in. She peeked nervously at Cat 1. When Cat 1 didn't object, she tiptoed in with tiny steps like she was walking on glass. I looked her over, and my brain short-circuited for a second. The cattier race had some kind of species-wide passive ability that would make every human woman on Earth file a formal complaint with God. It wasn't fair. It literally was not fair. Cat 9 noticed me looking and started fidgeting, squeezing her hands together shyly. I scratched my head and grinned. You girls are still young, and you've been stuck inside this mansion forever. That's gotta be boring, right? Go tell your sisters. I'm taking all of you out today. You have 20 minutes to get ready. Anyone who's late waits until next time. And next time might be never. Cat 1 stared at me like I'd just told her gravity was optional. My lord. Really? 19 minutes now. Cat 9 shrieked with pure joy, looked at Cat 1 for half a second of confirmation, then vanished. I'm talking gone. Poof. Afterimage. I have level 4 Lord physical stats, and I genuinely don't think I could have caught her. Cat people, man. Built different. After Cat 9's sonic boom faded, Cat 1 stood there with red eyes. She bowed deeply. Thank you, my lord. I ruffled her hair. Go get ready yourself. Can't walk out the door looking like a crying mess. Can you? She laughed through her tears, wiped her face, then said something she'd never said before. This servant still needs to finish the Lord's disguise. This servant. First time she'd used that term with me. Something about it hit different. I put on my serious face. If you walk out with me, you represent my image. You think I'm going outside with someone who looks like she just watched a sad movie? She froze for a second, then realized I was joking. She smiled and bowed again. This servant will follow the Lord's arrangements. At the doorway, she turned back for one more look at me. I was already back at the mirror, struggling with my fake beard. Go, go, go. I'm not waiting for you. Since I was going out with 9 girls, I deliberately showed up 10 minutes late. Because I've learned one universal truth that transcends dimensions. Women are never ready on time. Except they were. All 9 of them, lined up in a perfect row at the entrance. 9 different styles, 9 different flavors of stunning. It was like walking into a 6A-rated scenic attraction made entirely of beautiful women. I adjusted my magnificent fake beard, puffed out my chest, and swaggered up to them with maximum big boss energy. Tossed my money bags to 2 plainclothes Qingzhou soldier bodyguards. Then I walked up to Cat 1 and Cat 9 and held out both arms, elbows bent. Cat 9 bounced over immediately, grabbing my right arm with a giggle. Cat 1 did a graceful little hair flip, then elegantly took my left arm. I tilted my chin up. Let's roll. The other 7 sisters fell in behind us, trying not to laugh out loud, and failing. Picture the scene from the street's perspective. A big, rugged-looking man with a wild beard, walking like he owned the entire continent, with 2 jaw-dropping beauties on his arms, 7 more following behind him, and 2 intimidating bodyguards flanking the group with comically oversized money bags. Everyone on the street was whispering. Must be some rich noble's son from a major territory, here on vacation. And I played that role perfectly. Whatever the girls looked at, wanted, tasted, or even glanced at for more than 2 seconds, bought. Everything. The 2 bodyguards were holding money bags the size of school backpacks, and I was emptying them with zero hesitation. I wanted every person on that street to know that yes, I was indeed a newly rich man with absolutely no financial self-control. We spent the entire day wandering every corner of Huaxia territory. All 12 of us. The Cat sisters were glowing with happiness, arms full of shopping bags. I was exhausted, but seeing them this excited kept me going for a few more hours. When night fell, the girls were crowding around a snack stall, and I sat down nearby with a cup of tea. I watched the evening crowd drift past, adventurers mostly, since Huaxia territory was still new enough that we attracted more wanderers than established merchants. I was people watching with casual amusement when one of my Qingzhou bodyguards leaned in close. "My lord, we're being followed." My eyes narrowed instantly. Huaxia territory was known for excellent public safety. I'd barely flashed some money around for one day, and someone was already tailing me? In MY territory? That was a direct insult to my face as lord. I sipped my tea calmly. "Grab him when you get a chance. Find out who sent him. I'll send people to destroy their organization afterward." "Yes, sir." The Qingzhou soldier nodded and melted back into position like nothing happened. As we continued walking, he quietly disappeared from the group. The stalker didn't even realize what happened until there was a dagger pressed against his throat. "Don't kill me. I have something to say to your master." We dragged him to a private room in a nearby restaurant. I sat across from him, face completely blank. He was on his knees, but somehow this guy had the audacity to straighten his back, look at me with contempt, and shove a sealed letter toward me. "Everything I want to say is in here. You'll find it." "Interesting." The Qingzhou guard took the letter and handed it to me. I opened it with zero expression and started reading. The more I read, the darker my face got. Someone had been reaching their filthy hands into MY territory. And not just anyone. Japanese pirates? The second I said that, the stalker's face lit up with the most punchable expression of superiority I'd ever seen. "Yoshi, now that you know who I am, why don't you untie me?" My Qingzhou guard didn't wait for orders. His sword was at the man's neck instantly, drawing a thin line of blood. The arrogance evaporated like morning dew. Mr. Tough Guy's legs started shaking so hard I thought he was going to wet himself. I waved the guard off. "Easy now. Is that how we treat a guest?" "Put the weapon away." The Japanese pirate looked at me with genuine surprise, clearly thinking I was scared of his people. He immediately puffed back up, turned around, and spat on the ground near my bodyguard's feet. "Baka, your master doesn't dare say anything to me, and you put a sword to my neck? Help me up." The Qingzhou guard stared at him with ice-cold eyes. Said nothing. The pirate started turning back to tell me to discipline my subordinate. He didn't finish the turn. My palm connected with his face so hard his ancestors felt it. Then I pulled out my frost dagger, tapped it gently against his cheek, and smiled. "Your people have been hiding on the Shattered Star Islands this whole time. What exactly are you doing in MY Central Province? Let me explain how this world works real quick. Not all humans end up in the same campus dimension. Only people of the same race get grouped together. My dimension was all Dragon Clan people. That's us Chinese. There are also Eagle Clan, Sand Clan, Bear Clan, and a bunch of others. And then there's the Japanese, the Raiwo people. Each race tends to cluster in a specific province. Dragon Clan dominates Central Province, though we're so numerous we've got settlements everywhere. The Raiwo people, who number maybe a tenth of our population, mostly huddle on the Shattered Star Islands. A whole cluster of islands, all Raiwo territory. Now here's the thing about the Raiwo. On the surface, they love to talk about how civilized and cultured they are. Behind the scenes, they're worse than demons. Their treatment of other humans would make actual monsters wince. Back in the day, when Dragon Clan lords were fighting each other in Central Province, because of course we were having a civil war, the Raiwo lords saw their chance. They launched an invasion from the Shattered Star Islands straight into Central Province. Everyone on the continent acknowledged that Central Province was Dragon Clan territory. Didn't matter. They stormed in, seized land, and then committed absolute atrocities. Massacres, torture, things that would make a demon lord say, "That's a bit much." Countless Dragon Clan lords were furious, but the top-level dragon lords were too busy trying not to lose their own civil war to deal with it. So the Raiwo got bolder and bolder. They literally started screaming about renaming the 9 provinces to Raiwo Continent. The audacity. Then a group of young, new Dragon Clan lords said, "Enough." They formed an alliance called Red Star, and with nothing but fury and sacrifice, they drove the Raiwo back to their islands. That Red Star Alliance? It's now one of the continent's top 5-star alliances. Best reputation among all major alliances. And the spirit of those young founders hasn't changed one bit. But apparently the Raiwo people have short memories, because here they are again, reaching their grimy little hands toward Central Province. The nation-founding opportunity must have inflated their ambitions like a balloon. I pressed my enchanted frost dagger against the spy's face, dragging it slowly across his skin, leaving thin red lines. His arrogance melted faster than ice cream in hell. Snot and drool were running down his face in rivers. "Yes, sir. Please, don't be hasty. Ask me anything. I'll tell you everything." I rested the blade tip right at the edge of his eye socket and spoke in my flattest, coldest voice. "I don't repeat myself." He swallowed hard, feeling the freezing metal against his skin. "Migration. It was a city migration. I came here with a commander from the Samurai Alliance. They relocated an entire city here. That tracked. This guy was clearly just a civilian, not a soldier or general. Those are bound by absolute loyalty to their lord. This spineless jellyfish would sell his own mother for 5 more minutes of breathing. But what surprised me was that the Samurai Alliance hadn't just built a branch city nearby. They'd done a full city migration. That meant they picked up an entire developed city, buildings, infrastructure, everything, and physically relocated it to Central Province. That costs an insane amount of resources, and the higher the city's level, the more expensive it gets. What level is the city? S6. Really? I swear it's true. Level 6. Smart move, actually. A level 6 city was the highest tier within intermediate rank. Migrating a level 6 was way cheaper than migrating a level 7, which was the lowest high-rank tier. And once they got here, they could quickly push to level 7 and gain high-rank territory status. Their plan was obvious. Sneak in a mid-tier city at low cost, power level it to high tier, and then start expanding aggressively before anyone strong enough noticed. And with the entire Samurai Alliance backing them up, solid strategy. Evil, but solid. Not a bad scheme, I said with a cold laugh. Then I asked the most important question. Who's the strongest general in that city? I don't know. I pushed the dagger tip slightly into his eye socket. I really don't know. The Lord keeps the military district completely separate, and the Alliance just assigned me to this Lord recently. I don't know his details. I thought about it for a moment. This coward was genuinely too terrified to lie. Fine. What's the city called? What's the Lord's name? The city is Azuchi Castle. The Lord's name is Kamita Jinjiro. Give me 3 more useful pieces of information and I'll let you live. Information. Information. Useful information. The guy looked like he was about to burst into tears trying to think. Azuchi Castle has great infrastructure, and the entertainment district has amazing performers, especially one whose family name is Ao. I slowly increased pressure on the dagger. This was not the kind of useful information I was looking for. As the pain intensified, he finally screamed out something actually relevant. Wait, I have something. Lord Kamita's generals are at least 3-star purple rank or above. I stopped pushing. That checked out. Any city entrusted by a major alliance with a migration mission to Central Province would need serious military leadership. 3-star purple minimum made sense. This fool had nothing left to offer me. The frost dagger went through his eye socket and into his brain. The last words this arrogant Raiwo spy ever heard were me scoffing. You're lucky the ranking system grades generals relative to their own race's history first. Otherwise, you think the Raiwo people would have any generals above 3 stars. It was true. The general ranking system first measured impact and contribution within your own race, then against all humanity. So even a small nation with limited history could have a few orange-tier generals, boosted by system-granted stats and skills. Fair. Debatable. Annoying? Absolutely. I sent the Qingzhou guards to escort the 9 cat sisters home. Then I quietly contacted all 30 Qingzhou soldiers that Sima Yi had left in the city, plus 100 berserkers, and had them tail me at a distance. Meanwhile, I took just 2 plainclothes Qingzhou guards and headed toward the location marked on the spy's letter. Let's see what you comfortable little island people are plotting inside MY territory. Following the letter's instructions, I went through a maze of alleys, switched between multiple contact points, passed through several handoffs, and finally reached the spot where the Raiwo had been holding secret meetings inside Huaxia territory. I followed the trail through twisting alleys and secret handoffs until I reached the meeting spot. A civilian house with a hidden basement going 3 floors deep. There was a stage in the middle, surrounded by fancy leather couches. I sat down on one of those couches, and my face turned green. See, I have true side-eye. I've been using it to monitor the area outside my territory and watch battlefields. I've never used it to spy on what's happening inside my own city. Why would I? I trusted my security. Sure, Qian's intelligence bureau was supposed to catch this kind of thing. But no, these Raiwo rats had built an entire underground operation right beneath my feet. And the people sitting around me on these expensive couches? They were the big merchant leaders and wealthy traders who'd recently set up shop in Huaxia territory. My territory, making money off MY infrastructure. And here they were, attending a secret meeting organized by the enemy. My face hurt, not from getting hit, from the sheer disrespect. I kept stroking my fake beard and watching. The organizer finally stepped onto the stage. A short man with a tiny square-shaped mustache right under his nose. Because of course he had that mustache. It's like they're contractually obligated to look like cartoon villains. Bold choice, showing up with that face in MY City, I muttered to myself. He bowed to the audience in all four directions. Got some scattered, lazy applause in return. These merchants were all big shots, powerful backing, deep pockets. Nobody was going to clap enthusiastically for some unknown Raiwo man in a basement. Thank you all for coming. I am Matsushita Sakamoto. I'm honored by your presence. I'm sure you've all noticed, everyone invited here is a major player in this territory. Top of your industry or extremely wealthy. So I'll get straight to the point. He paused dramatically. In a few days, our army will crush this city. That got a reaction. The merchants who'd been lounging around like bored royalty suddenly sat up straight, panic flickering across their faces. They'd been making great money in Huaxia territory. Some had even earned recognition from the higher-ups, meaning me, though they didn't know I was sitting right there. Matsushita smiled at their fear like a cat watching fish flop around. Relax, relax. We won't destroy the city. Business continues as usual. Shops stay open. The only thing that changes is the owner. Someone in the audience spoke up. Then why'd you call us here? Matsushita clapped his hands. Excellent question. I've invited you all so you can use your influence within Huaxia territory to promote the name and reputation of our great Azuchi territory. A little. Hearts and Minds campaign. I narrowed my eyes. Oh, so these little island people want to play psychological warfare with me. One sharp-eyed merchant wasn't buying it. He scoffed openly. You say you'll crush Huaxia territory like it's easy? And you expect us to help just because you asked nicely? Don't be naive, little island man. Matsushita didn't flinch. Instead, he smiled and said, Mr. Li Zhuo, the enchanted weapon trade in Huaxia territory is quite profitable, isn't it? Your caravan and one 3-star merchant group control most of it. You've benefited enormously. Li Zhuo's face twitched. But if I'm not mistaken, your master is a recently risen level 6 lord south of Huaxia territory. Do you really think he'd want to lose access to that enchanted weapons market? Dead silence. Matsushita had just casually dropped Li Zhuo's entire background like it was common knowledge. The man came prepared. Everyone in the room realized. If he knew Li Zhuo's secrets, he knew theirs too. Matsushita continued without missing a beat. Each of you is the top player in your particular industry within Huaxia territory. And we've only invited one from each industry. Help us conserve our forces during the takeover. And when Huaxia territory changes hands, you become the sole monopoly in your field. No more competition. That made eyes light up. These were merchants to the bone, not citizens of Huaxia territory. They didn't care who owned the city. They cared about profit. And a guaranteed monopoly? That was the kind of deal that made businessmen salivate. Matsushita watched them wavering and went in for the kill. One more thing you should know. Azuchi territory didn't build here from scratch. We migrated an entire developed city from the Shattered Star Islands. Migrated? Jaws dropped everywhere. A full city migration cost more resources than most of their backers had combined. This meant serious money behind the operation. Smart play, dangle the carrot, then flex the muscles. Furthermore, Matsushita continued, chest puffed out, our lead general is a 4-star red-tier warrior. High-ranking. That changed everything. Not everyone was lucky enough to be me, pulling gold-tier generals and orange-tier strategists out of summoning altars. For most lords, a 3-star purple general was already worth dying for. A 4-star red? That was the kind of firepower that ended wars. I'm in. Someone raised their hand. One hole in the barrel, and the water pours out. Within seconds, hands were shooting up everywhere. Everyone wanted on the winning team. All except me. and one other person who hesitated. Aren't you Raiwo people worried about the Dragon Clan's top lords coming after you? This is Central Province. You migrated an entire city here. That's basically spitting in every major dragon lord's face. The others who'd already raised their hands suddenly froze. Good point. This was Dragon Clan home turf. Setting up a new branch city was one thing. But migrating a whole developed city into Central Province? That was a declaration of intent. If a top-tier dragon lord noticed, Azuchi would get steamrolled, and everyone who helped them would be running for their lives. Matsushita didn't panic, just gave another mysterious smile. We represent the Samurai Alliance. The room went dead silent. The Samurai Alliance was one of only 2 5-star alliances the Raiwo people had. The other was the Ninja Alliance. And rumor had it, both alliances had recently formed a partnership. The last holdout raised his hand. I'm in too. Huh? A wise choice. Matsushita laughed triumphantly. Then he added, dragging out the words for dramatic effect. Besides, your Dragon Clan's top lords are a little too busy fighting each other to worry about us right now, aren't they? Ha 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 ha. Everyone exchanged glances, then joined in the laughter. The whole room was cackling like a pack of hyenas who'd just found an unguarded hen house. While all these traitors and invaders laughed their conspiratorial little laughs, I sat there in silence, eating grapes. Popping one in my mouth. Chewing. Spitting the skin on the floor. Another grape. Chew. Spit skin on floor. The sound of grape skins hitting the ground finally caught Matsushita's attention. He walked over to me, still riding his high. Sir, are you perhaps unsatisfied with the terms I've offered? I didn't answer. Just kept eating grapes. Popped another one in my mouth. Chewed slowly. Then I spat the grape skin directly onto his face. Baka! Matsushita ripped the grape skin off his face, shaking with rage. You filthy Dragon Clan dog. You dare spit garbage on my face. I'll kill your lord. I'll kill your entire family. Every man in your lord's territory dies, and every woman gets sold into slavery. His bodyguards rushed forward, katanas pointed right at me. My 2 Chinjo soldiers drew their swords instantly, flanking me on both sides. Matsushita laughed. Ha ha ha, foolish dragon. My guards are purple tier soldiers. Give up. The merchants heard purple tier and scrambled away from me like I was radioactive. In their minds, anyone who walks around with purple tier bodyguards must represent insane power. They were already daydreaming about their monopoly empires under Azuchi rule. And then, I kid you not, they started competing to lick Matsushita's boots. Right in front of me, while I was still sitting right there. Mr. Matsushita, I'll mobilize all my master's connections and channels in Huasha territory to help. Mr. Matsushita, my family offers full support. Mr. Matsushita, I'll start spreading propaganda immediately. Mr. Matsushita, I can put up announcements in all my shops across the territory. Mr. Matsushita, when your lord conquers Huasha territory, I'll personally bring my people to the gates to welcome you. Mr. Matsushita, I can provide inside support for your army when they attack. These people, making money in MY City, eating food grown on MY land, protected by MY soldiers, were falling over themselves to betray me. To a guy with a tiny square mustache standing in MY basement. In MY territory, my face was darker than the bottom of a charcoal mine at midnight. Matsushita was riding so high he could have touched the ceiling. Huh, wonderful. Let me just deal with this rude gentleman first, and then we'll discuss the details. He ordered his 2 purple-tier samurai to raise their katanas at me. Everyone in the room was waiting to watch my head roll. Instead, I completely ignored the swords swinging toward me and kicked Matsushita square in the face. He went down like a sack of rice, clutching his nose in disbelief. His fearsome purple-tier bodyguards? My Chinjo soldiers killed them each with a single sword stroke. One swing. Done. Purple-tier soldiers, the thing these merchants were so impressed by, turned into floor decorations in under a second. The room went dead silent. Everyone's brain was buffering. I ripped off the fake beard, the disguise, everything. Then I started kicking the daylights out of Matsushita on the ground. Kick. You little, coming to MY territory. Kick. To cause trouble. Kick. And you had the audacity to invite me to watch? Kick. Huh, kick. I gave you face, and you threw it on the ground. 2 more kicks to his actual face for good measure. Then I took a deep breath. Phew. I am normally a civilized, well-mannered young man of excellent moral character. Today you made me swear. That's on you. I turned around. The, the lord of Huaxia territory? Every single merchant in that room looked like they'd just swallowed a live fish. Their faces cycled through horror, regret, and the dawning realization that they had just pledged loyalty to the enemy of the man standing in front of them. While he was eyeing the room, I gave them one cold look, then clapped my hands toward the entrance. Dozens of 5-star orange-tier Qingzhou soldiers and over 100 purple-tier berserkers poured in and surrounded everyone. A few more Raiwo purple-tier samurai who'd been hiding inside rooms heard the commotion and rushed out, straight into the Qingzhou soldiers' spears. A dozen of them got shish kebabbed in an instant. The berserkers ran up afterward and added a few stabs just because they could. The merchants were huddled in the corner like scared hamsters. I glanced at them with absolute contempt. Throw this garbage in prison. Shut down every shop they own in Huaxia territory. Seal this place. Nobody leaves. Not a single person escapes. And lock down the entire city. Tear up every floorboard if you have to. Find every single rat hole like this one inside my territory. I turned on my heel and walked out without looking back. I barely had time to calm down before Xia Yu returned with his troops. My lord, I have great news. I sighed. Zhongda, I also have something to tell you. Oh? What has troubled you so? I told him the whole story. The underground meeting, the Raiwo infiltration, the traitorous merchants, all of it. Xia Yu nodded thoughtfully. I should have anticipated this. I waved him off. Don't comfort me. This infiltration started long before you arrived. You've been on the job for one day. This is on me. I treated internal governance like it was simple, and I got burned. Xia Yu offered a measured response. My lord, Huaxia territory's commercial growth outpaced its administrative infrastructure. The government offices aren't fully established yet, but business boomed. That imbalance created the vulnerability. I nodded. You're right. Another reason to level up as fast as possible. Then I remembered something more pleasant. Speaking of which, Zhongda, every few hours today, I was getting victory notifications from your campaign. You and Temujin brought in a massive haul of resources. You flatter me, my lord. The classic humble Xia Yu bow. Now what's this good news you mentioned? He paused for a moment, then said, Actually, my news and your news are about the same thing. The same thing? During my campaign, the last activation of my genius skill detected a human city. My eyes went wide. Xia Yu's voice dropped low. That's right. The Raiwo territory, Azuchi Castle. I burst out laughing. Heaven offered them a stairway, and they chose the highway to hell instead. They walked right into my backyard. You said it's good news, Zhongda. That means you're confident we can take them? Xia Yu gave me that trademark mysterious smile. Said nothing. I leaned in close. Your genius skill reveals all enemy intelligence when it detects them. So tell me, who's their main general? Xia Yu's eyes narrowed, and he spoke in a voice heavy with meaning. The greatest warrior of the Raiwo people. 4-star red tier top commander, Sanada Yukimura. Sanada Yukimura. The greatest warrior of the Raiwo people. I really didn't expect it to be him. I rubbed my chin and dug through my memories from school. Back in the campus dimension, we had a class on famous generals from all races. Sanada Yukimura, real name Sanada Nobushige, was one of the 3 great tragic heroes of the Raiwo people. Called the last hero of their warring era, and Raiwo's greatest soldier, lost to Tokugawa Ieyasu, which is exactly why Tokugawa got ranked as a 5-star orange-tier general, while Yukimura only made it to 4-star red. The school class only gave us basic biographical info, though. Histories and achievements. No portraits, no skill breakdowns. So I knew who he was, but not what he could do, which was annoying. While I was racking my brain for every scrap of information, Temujin rode in through the gates. Perfect timing. Both my arms are back. War room, gentlemen. Let's talk. I sat in the center. Temujin on my right. Xia Yu on my left. This was the command lineup I'd been dreaming about since day one. Zhongda, did your genius skill pick up Yukimura's abilities? Xia Yu gave an apologetic smile. My lord, genius reveals city layout, troop types, troop numbers, logistics capacity, the full infrastructure picture. But it doesn't reveal individual general skills. Fair enough. Then give us what you do have on Azuchi territory. Temujin was listening too, though I could tell from his expression that he was deeply unimpressed by this so-called greatest warrior. In Temujin's mind, a man who conquered most of the known world. Yukimura's wars were village skirmishes, neighborhood disagreements. His legendary battles probably involved fewer soldiers than the number of stable boys who fed Temujin's horses back in the day. But a fight was a fight, and Temujin took every fight seriously. He listened carefully. Sima began his briefing. Azuchi territory has 30,000 soldiers garrisoned. Of those, 8,000 are Yukimura's personal troops, 4-star red tier, Sonata red armor cavalry, full crimson armor on both rider and horse. They carry 3-meter cross-patterned spears with bird crests and wear antler helmets. Any other lord would have had a heart attack hearing this. 8,000 red tier cavalry. That was terrifying. Furthermore, Sima continued, although Yukimura is only a 4-star red general, his level is 8. I nodded. Makes sense. You can't command 8,000 personal troops without a high level. However, Sima noted, both Temujin and I are only level 2. This could be a vulnerability. Continue. Azuchi territory is only level 6, but their material reserves are absurd, comparable to a level 8 territory. They clearly prepared extensively for this migration. Expected. You don't relocate an entire city across the continent on a tight budget. There's also a significant defensive challenge. Outside the main gate, Yukimura has constructed a semicircular fortification approximately 180 meters wide called the Sonata Maru. Exits only at the rear and flanks. Triple palisade walls on the exterior. Moat on 3 sides. The red armor cavalry defends from inside. It's an absolute fortress, incredibly difficult to assault head-on. If we avoid the Sonata Maru and attack from the side walls instead, we bypass the fortification but face a harder siege. And inside the city itself, they've channeled lake water through spiral canal networks that separate different districts. Sima sketched everything out on paper as he talked. By the end, Temujin and I had a clear picture. The situation was this. Yukimura was level 8 versus our level 2 generals. He had 30,000 soldiers versus our roughly 3,000. He had a purpose-built defensive fortress and a well-supplied city behind it. On the bright side, we'd identified that the Sonata Maru fortification was almost certainly one of Yukimura's skills. The red armor cavalry was another. That meant he only had 2 unknown skills left, narrowing down the surprises. Then Sima dropped the real bombshell. My lord, one more thing. Azuchi Castle is holding nearly 100,000 captured civilians, native residents and citizens from conquered Dragon Clan territories. I slammed my fist on the table so hard the wood cracked. Those Raiwo bastards. They've been here barely any time at all, and they've already captured 100,000 of our people from Central Province? Unforgivable. No more deliberation needed. Sima Temujin. Listen up. Present. Temujin. You are the commanding general. Sima You are the military strategist. Take all the Mongol cavalry, all the Qingzhou soldiers, plus 500 berserkers. Tomorrow at dawn, we march on Azuchi territory. This battle has one acceptable outcome. Victory. As you command, my lord. As you command, my lord. I put a hand on each of their shoulders. You two stay here and plan the tactics. I'll personally arrange troop rest rotations and logistics tonight. I walked out and threw myself into preparation. Checked every supply line, every weapon rack, every ration count. Made sure every soldier marching tomorrow was fed, rested, and armed to the teeth. But when I got home that night, couldn't sleep. Tossed and turned for hours. The math kept running through my head. We were outnumbered nearly 10-1. My generals were 6 levels below their opponent. On paper, this looked suicidal. But I had a 6-star gold general and a 5-star orange strategist. Their skills were designed for exactly this kind of impossible fight. Sima Yi's equilibrium could drag Yukimura down to equal footing. The Qingzhou soldiers got stronger the more you hit them. And Temujin's Mongol cavalry had never lost a battle in any lifetime. I chose trust over doubt. These weren't just soldiers following orders. These were legends written into the fabric of history itself. And I was going to pit them against a man whose greatest battles wouldn't even qualify as a warm-up exercise for my guys. Dawn broke. Through my true sight eye, I watched Temujin and Sima lead the army out of the gates. My heart clenched. Just a little. One tiny moment of worry. Then it passed. Because Yukimura might be the greatest warrior of the Raiwo people. But Temujin conquered the world. A village champion versus the king of the planet. The math checked out. At the walls of Azuchi Castle, my army formed up. No point hiding. 30,000 defenders knew we were coming the second we marched. Yukimura was already standing on the battlements in his crimson armor, watching. Temujin sat tall on his massive horse, looked up at the tiny Raiwo soldiers on the walls, and didn't even try to hide his contempt. Fire. The Mongol cavalry's bows, boosted by multiple layers of skill enhancements, had reached absolutely disgusting levels of power. The arrow volley that followed wasn't rain. It was a natural disaster. Azuchi's city walls, supposedly built to withstand siege warfare, started crumbling. Massive chunks breaking off. Structural damage everywhere. Yukimura couldn't stay on the walls anymore. He led his 30,000 troops out through the gates, red armor cavalry at the front, and screamed his battle cry. Let the name of Sanada live forever. Charge. Temujin ordered his cavalry to switch from bows to curved swords. Then he spurred his horse forward, leading the charge head-on into Yukimura's army, and roared with the full contempt of a man who'd conquered continents. A mere village warrior. Break him. I watched the whole thing through my true sight eye from back home, pacing around like a nervous father at a delivery room. Yukimura's decision to charge out of the city was actually pretty smart for someone who didn't know what he was running into. See, Temujin deliberately avoided attacking the front gate where the Sanada Maru fortress was. Instead, he parked on the side with the tall walls and just started hammering arrows into them. The walls were only level 6 quality, and Mongol cavalry arrows with multiple skill buffs stacked on top were hitting like cannonballs. Chunks of wall were literally falling off. Yukimura had no choice. If the walls broke, he lost his advantage. So he charged out. But here's the thing. He also wanted to charge. From his perspective, the math looked beautiful. He'd scouted every territory within thousands of miles. No high-level lords. No one with a 4-star general or above. His opponent had fewer than 10,000 troops, some cavalry that seemed specialized in archery, some infantry, and some guys who looked like barbarians. His own red armor cavalry were high-level, high-star mounted units. Against archers and foot soldiers, charging was textbook correct. He had numerical advantage, level advantage, what he thought was star rating advantage, cavalry versus infantry type advantage, and his fully stocked city right behind him as a safety net. For advantages before the fight even started. Why wouldn't he charge? But you don't deserve to make us retreat back to the city, Yukimura said with a confident smile, leading his 8,000 red armor cavalry forward. This would be his 30th consecutive victory since migrating to Central Province. He was going to show every Dragon Clan lord that the Raiwo weren't village warriors. They were world-class generals. Poor guy? He had no idea he was charging directly into a meat grinder designed by history's greatest strategist and operated by history's greatest conqueror. Temujin didn't flinch. Instead of retreating from the cavalry charge like any sane archer-type unit would, he ordered his Mongol cavalry to switch to curved swords and charge right back. Foolish dragon general, Yukimura screamed. Your head will mark my 30th holy victory. The instant the two cavalry forces closed distance, Temujin activated Grand Unification. Enemy combat state, scrambled. Own army attributes, doubled. Yukimura felt the shift immediately. His soldiers were wobbling. Something was wrong. To his credit, he reacted fast. He was a top-tier 4-star red general for a reason. He bellowed his battle cry. Let the name of Sanada live forever. His soldiers snapped back to normal. Morale surged. Another one of his skills, a rallying cry that restored and boosted his troops. Two armies, neither had touched each other yet, and they'd already traded skill activations. This was high-level warfare. Temujin arranged the formation perfectly. Mongol cavalry as the spearhead, berserkers in the center, Qingzhou soldiers on both flanks and the rear. Maximum offense up front, minimum casualties overall. The berserkers were the weakest of the three, though weakest among my troops still meant above average by continental standards. The two forces crashed together. For the first time ever, the Mongol cavalry didn't come out unscathed. Yukimura's red armor troops were significantly higher level, and several of my riders took wounds during the initial clash. But nobody died. Yukimura, on the other hand, looked like someone had slapped him with a fish. His confident cavalry charge, the thing he'd staked his reputation on, barely scratched the enemy vanguard. Meanwhile, his own side had hundreds of casualties. And then he noticed something that really messed with his head. Every time a Mongol cavalry rider got wounded, they went absolutely berserk on the nearest red armor soldier, just hacking and slashing with pure fury. And while they were fighting, their wounds healed, right there on the battlefield. Cuts closing, blood stopping, like they had a personal medical team inside their skin. What kind of freak soldiers are these? No time to figure it out mid-battle. Yukimura's veteran instincts kicked in. He noticed that the Qingzhou soldiers on the flanks hadn't dodged much during the charge. They'd taken real damage without trying to avoid it. That's a weakness. All units, focus the flanks. Surround the enemy cavalry. He redirected all his red armor troops to attack the Qingzhou soldiers specifically. Oh, Yukimura. Sweet, doomed Yukimura. You just did exactly what Xia Yu wanted. Several rounds of the red armor cavalry pounding on the Qingzhou soldiers later, Xia Yu sat calmly in the center of the formation, smiled that infuriating smile of his, and glanced up at the Azuchi Lord Kemita Jinjiro standing on the city wall. Battle progress. Past 30%. Foresight activated. He could now see the next 5% of the battle's developments. Every move the enemy would make, known in advance. As more and more red armor soldiers fell, Yukimura's eyes turned bloodshot. He spun toward the city walls and screamed, "Kamita Kyuin!" Up on the wall, the Azuchi Lord nodded frantically. HAI. He activated his personal talent, Spirit Healer, which could restore his soldiers to 80% condition and boost their stats by 80%. 1 second before the healing landed, Xia Yu's voice rang across the battlefield like a bell. Perfect kill. Every single Qingzhou soldier roared in unison. HA. Perfect kill. When Qingzhou soldiers are near death from enemy attacks, they recover 50% HP and all enemy recovery abilities are disabled. Kamita was classified as part of the attacking side since his troops were the aggressors. His Spirit Healer talent? A recovery skill. Instantly nullified. Yukimura watched in horror as the Qingzhou soldiers he'd been beating to a pulp suddenly healed up, while his own soldiers kept dropping and his lord's healing power did absolutely nothing. Kamita Kun. Heal the troops. I already used it. Kamita screamed back, staring at his interface in panic. It's not working. Damn it. Yukimura's gaze snapped to Xia Yu and met that calm, knowing smile. Everything clicked. He'd been played from the very beginning. The Qingzhou soldiers wanted to get hit. They needed to take damage. Their entire design was a trap, and he'd walked straight into it with all 8,000 of his best troops. What kind of monsters are these soldiers? Fine, I have one more trick. He activated his final skill, Shadow Warrior. A Sonata family battle flag rose high, and suddenly 3 identical copies of his entire red armor unit appeared on the battlefield. For groups of soldiers, all looking exactly the same. Impossible to tell which was real. Cute trick. Really, very theatrical. Xia Yu looked at the illusion army and actually laughed. Then he called out to Temujin. General, done playing yet? Yeah. Temujin's voice thundered across the field with the same devastating authority. Equilibrium. Every red armor soldier on the battlefield, real or fake, suddenly felt their bodies go weak. Their level 8 stats collapsed, crushed down, all the way to level 2. What? I went from level 8 to level 2. Yukimura stood frozen, his face white as snow. He'd been barely holding his own at level 8. At level 2, against these nightmare soldiers, it was over. It was completely, utterly, mathematically over. All he saw next was Temujin's cold eyes and the flash of a curved blade. From the moment Yukimura decided to lead his troops outside those walls, he'd already lost. He just didn't know it yet. That was the beauty of fighting Xia Yu's army. You didn't realize you were dead until after you'd done everything exactly how he wanted. Temujin's blade was a centimeter from Yukimura's throat when a jade pendant on Yukimura's chest suddenly flashed. A ghostly projection of an old Raiwo man materialized from it. Sir, please spare him. I will grant any request you make. Temujin didn't hesitate, not even for a second. The curved blade slid across Yukimura's throat. The old man's projection flickered with rage. The Samurai Alliance will hunt your lord. Forever, the old Raiwo man's projection screamed his curse and vanished. But as Yukimura died, the jade pendant released a burst of blood-red light that slammed into Temujin's arm. It transformed into a black katana mark, burned right into his skin. Another tracking mark, just like the one the Shadow Mantis put on Nyo Air. Except this one came from a 5-star alliance. The Samurai Alliance will hunt your lord. Forever. Yeah. Get in line, Grandpa. Temujin didn't waste a single second mourning the death of Raiwo's greatest warrior. He raised his curved sword high. Charge with me. With Yukimura dead, his red armor cavalry had no commander. And at equal levels. Thanks to equilibrium dragging them all down to level 2. A 6-star gold unit fighting leaderless 4-star red soldiers was like wolves loose in a sheep pen. It wasn't a battle anymore. It was a harvest. Temujin's riders just raised their swords and dropped them, raised and dropped, all the way through the gates of Azuchi Castle. Meanwhile, on a distant island in the Shattered Star Archipelago, the old man from the Jade Pendant was kneeling on a tatami mat, reporting to his alliance leader. Alliance Master, Sanada Koen has been killed by Dragon Clan forces. The alliance leader sat in a high seat, surrounded by incense smoke so thick you couldn't even see his face. He was mid-sip on his tea when he heard the news. Smash. Teacup shattered against the floor. Baka. Sanada was a critical piece I placed in Central Province. Find whoever did this. Spare in no expense. I will turn them into sashimi. Cool threat, bro. Really scary. I'm shaking. Back at Huaxia territory, I'd been pacing since dawn. When I finally saw the Mongol cavalry army approaching in the distance around noon, my heart nearly jumped out of my chest. But something was wrong. Temujin wasn't with them. Zhongda, where's Temujin? Sima dismounted calmly. The Samurai Alliance placed a tracking mark on him during Yukimura's death. He stayed behind in Azuchi Castle to clean up the battlefield and avoid leading them back here. Another tracking mark. I rubbed my forehead. Sima Yi's expression was grave. Temujin says this one is high grade. The positioning will be extremely accurate. I thought about it for a minute. Then a vicious smile spread across my face. 5-star alliance? So what? We're in Central Province. Their home base is on the Shattered Star Islands. You think they're going to send their entire army across the ocean to find me? The second Araiwo 5-star alliance marches into Central Province in full force, every Dragon Clan top lord and 5-star alliance will come down on them like a hammer. No matter how busy they are with their own wars. And with the nation-founding opportunity approaching, there was zero chance the Samurai Alliance would send their heavy hitters away from home base. They needed those forces to compete for the crown. As long as their top-tier combat power stayed home, I was confident I could handle whatever they threw at me, especially on my home turf. Tell Temujin to stay at Azuchi Castle for now. Once I upgrade Huaxia territory to level 5, I'm building a military city, and Temujin will command it. Sima Yi's eyes lit up with approval. Brilliant, my lord. The tracking mark on Temujin is a double-edged sword. Used correctly, it becomes a weapon against them. Then he laid out the logic that I was already piecing together. The Samurai Alliance couldn't send top forces. The tracking mark would lead enemies to the military city, not my main territory. They'd follow the mark, expecting to find headquarters, and instead walk straight into a fortress full of soldiers. That's not tracking a target. That's walking into a hornet's nest carrying a stick. And even if they somehow conquered the military city, we just pull the soldiers out beforehand. Congratulations, you spent enormous resources to capture an empty building. Here's your prize. Nothing. The entire strategy hinged on one thing. Huaxia territory's coordinates must never be exposed. If the main city stayed hidden, this plan was perfect. If it leaked, everything collapsed. Zhongda, you and Temujin clearly already had this planned out, didn't you? And you came here to test whether I'd figure it out myself. Sima bowed with that insufferable smile. Everything is at the Lord's discretion. Everything is at the Lord's discretion. Ha! I couldn't even be mad. These two were so good at their jobs that they were now running quality checks on my strategic thinking. I was being audited by my own generals. And I passed. Let me tally up my current enemy list real quick. 1. The Samurai Alliance, a 5-star Raiwo alliance across the ocean. Angry, vengeful, far away. 2. The Red Crow Alliance, the biggest bandit coalition in Central Province. Close, dangerous, still lurking. 3. Chun Fong and his useless son. Honestly, I'd almost forgotten about these clowns. They were like a mosquito on the enemy list, technically there, but not worth slapping. Now let's go count the loot, Xia Yu said with a grin. Lead the way. That was a hard fight. I want to see what we got. Regular supplies and equipment had already been sent to the logistics department. But Xia Yu had saved the best part for me personally. My lord, I've brought you the key to reaching level 5. And that would be people. On his signal, Qingzhou soldiers began leading long lines of civilians through the gates of Huaxia territory. Men, women, children, elderly. Nearly 100,000 Central Province natives that the Raiwo had captured and imprisoned in Azuchi Castle. The moment these people walked through the gates and saw familiar Central Province faces everywhere, shops, streets, regular people living normal lives, they started crying. They didn't know if this new lord was good or bad yet, but being in Dragon Clan hands beat being Raiwo prisoners by about 1,000,000 miles. Watching them pour in, I felt two emotions crash into each other. Fury, that the Raiwo had dared to capture this many of our people, and joy, that I'd freed every single one of them. Plus, if I'm being practical about it, 100,000 people was more than enough to meet the population requirements for level 5. Heck, it might even cover level 6. Get these people sorted, men, women, elderly, children, separate groups. Have the logistics department and every tavern in the city prepare hot meals immediately. Anyone who wants to stay, stays. Anyone who wants to leave, leaves. Those who stay get background checks and citizenship processing. Nobody left. Not a single person. They'd been beaten, starved, and terrorized. Now someone was feeding them hot food and offering them a home where people lived in peace. Why would anyone walk away from that? The second our registered population hit the level 5 requirement, I slammed that upgrade button. Talent, 100-fold critical, triggered successfully. Level 4 to level 5 normally takes 2 years. With my talent, just over 7 days. The next evening, a Mongol cavalry rider came galloping in at full speed from Azuchi Castle. My lord, Officer Temujin sent me to deliver this. I took the item and scanned it with my lord's seal. Unknown summon item. My hands went numb. Unknown. Just like last time. Just like the summon item that gave me Temujin. I didn't think. I didn't hesitate. I didn't walk. I ran to the hero altar. Could it really happen twice? I slapped the item onto the altar and hit summon so hard I nearly broke the button. White light exploded across the altar. Ding. Congratulations. Summon successful. Obtained 5-star orange tier general. Talent, 100-fold critical, triggered, upgraded to 6-star gold tier general. Orange to gold. Again. My talent did it again. The light faded, and standing on the altar was a young man. Barely looked 20. Riding a magnificent white warhorse, wearing a bronze tiger head helmet, clad in coiling dragon chainmail armor, gripping a long spear like it weighed nothing. Sharp features, bright eyes, young face radiating pure, overwhelming confidence. He opened his mouth and his voice rang across the entire territory like a war drum. Those who invade my land, and no matter how far they run, shall be destroyed. I knew exactly who this was. The teenage prodigy who led 800 cavalry against the entire Xiongnu nation. The man who rode so deep into enemy territory, he performed a victory ceremony on their sacred mountain. The youngest military genius in Chinese history. The champion marquis himself. Huitzubing. This kid, and I say kid, because he looked about my age, rode his gorgeous white horse right down the steps of the hero altar like it was a red carpet. Not a care in the world. Just casually trotting down sacred summoning architecture on horseback. He pulled the reins, launched himself off the saddle with the grace of an Olympic gymnast, landed in front of me, and bowed with his fist clasped. Huitzubing greets the Lord. My brain needed a moment to reboot. First of all, he showed up on a horse. Nobody else came with accessories. Temujin walked down. Xia Yu walked down. Li Kuei probably rolled down. But this guy brought his ride. That alone told me he was built different. But I wasn't prepared for how different. Huitzubing. The Huitzubing. Let me give you the highlight reel of this man's resume. Age 18. Appointed as a junior cavalry officer, took 800 riders deep into the desert, outperformed the entire army twice, earned the title champion marquis. Age 19. Promoted to general of swift cavalry. Led 2 campaigns across the Hushi corridor. Killed or captured nearly 100,000 Xiongnu warriors. Seized their sacred golden sky worship statues. Marched straight to the Chilean mountains. Age 22. Chased the Xiongnu army all the way to Wolf's Summit Mountain. Performed a victory sacrifice to heaven and earth on their most sacred ground. Looked out over the northern sea and rode home. That moment, sealing Wolf's Summit, became the ultimate achievement for every Dragon Clan general in history. The highest honor any military commander could dream of. The equivalent of winning every championship simultaneously and then retiring to become president. Dragon Clan history has produced countless famous generals, but the ones who earned the title of War God? Huatsubing was on that very short list. I pulled up his stat page, and my eyes nearly popped out of my skull. Attack, 5,000. Defense, 3,000. Commands, 800 soldiers. Political ability, 1,000. Diplomacy, 500. 6-star gold. Unique tier. And 6 skills. Every single one was insane. Skill 1. General of Swift Cavalry. All soldiers under his command automatically convert to 6-star elite troops called Hussar Cavalry. Another 6-star army. Just like that. Free upgrade. Next. Skill 2. Champion Marquis. Every time his forces destroy an enemy unit, the entire army gets 100% stat boost and 100% morale boost. Read that again. Every victory doubles everything. So the first battle, he's strong. After the second battle, he's twice as strong. After the third, 4 times. Keep fighting, keep winning, keep doubling. Send this man down a chain of demon lairs or enemy cities, and by the 10th one, he'd be hitting harder than a meteor. It's not a skill. It's an exponential growth function wearing armor. Skill 3. Watering horses at the Great Sea. Before launching any attack, his troops automatically resupply all provisions on the spot. Soldiers fully restore to peak condition. This was cheating. Pure, shameless, cosmic-level cheating. Most armies fight, get tired, run low on food, and have to march home. Huatsubing's army? They finish a fight, instantly get a full meal and a spa treatment from thin air, and march to the next fight. Combine this with Champion Marquis, and you get an army that gets stronger and more rested with every battle. That's not war. That's a snowball rolling downhill forever. Skill 4. Sealing Wolf's Summit. After conquering a city, it automatically converts into a branch city for his lord. I had to read this 3 times because I genuinely thought my eyes were broken. Every lord on this continent spends enormous amounts of money and resources building branch cities. It's one of the most expensive things you can do. Some high-level lords dedicate their entire economy to establishing new branch cities. Huatsubing just takes cities and they become mine. Automatically. Registered in my lord's seal. Full system integration. Upgradable through the normal building system. Not some captured ruin I have to rebuild by hand. A real branch city. Do you understand what this means? Every city he conquers becomes part of my empire instantly. Every single one. If I point him south, everything south of here becomes mine. If I point him north, mine. East, west, all mine. All under heaven is the king's land. That wasn't just a saying anymore. With this skill, it was a business plan. Skill 5. United Army Toast. All soldiers get 200% state bonus, 200% morale bonus, 200% base stat bonus. Just casually tripling everything across the board. No conditions. No, when attacked, or after 30% progress. Just, here's triple stats. Because Huatsubing said so. Skill 6. Swift as wind. His entire force gains wind element enhancement. March speed increased by 300%. Ambush speed increased by 600%. All soldier morale doubled. 3 times normal marching speed. 6 times ambush speed. Faster than the Mongol cavalry. The founding father of blitzkrieg warfare brought his signature move into this world and cranked it to 11. Put all of this together, and you get the most terrifying military machine in existence. Attack a city. Win. Army doubles in power. Instantly resupply to full. City becomes your branch city. March to next target at triple speed. Attack again. Win again. Army doubles again. Resupply again. New branch city. March. Attack. Win. Double. Resupply. Branch city. March. Attack. It never ends. It literally never ends. He doesn't slow down. He doesn't get tired. He doesn't run out of food. And he gets stronger with every single victory. He's not a general. He's a natural disaster with a spear. I looked at the skills, then I looked at this confident young man standing in front of me, and I almost burst out laughing. Ha! Xia, no need for formalities. Thank you, my lord. No time to waste. I had 800 soldiers and 800 horses ready. Xia, hear my command. He dropped to one knee instantly. Present. I assign 800 soldiers and 800 war horses to your full command. As you command, my lord. Since he was a 6-star gold general, same as Temujin, regular soldiers converted to his specialty troops for free. The second the transfer went through, my ears got absolutely assaulted by system notifications. Congratulations. You have obtained 6-star troop type, Hussar Cavalry. Your Hussar Cavalry has gained the skill, Master of Horse and Bow. Your Hussar Cavalry has gained the skill, Blazing Raid. Your Hussar Cavalry has gained the skill, Swift as Wind. Your Hussar Cavalry has gained the skill, Iron Hammer Formation. Your Hussar Cavalry has gained the skill, Arrow Point Formation. Your Hussar Cavalry has gained the skill, Crescent Moon Formation. Congratulations. You have unlocked the unique achievement, Hussar Commander. All Hussar Cavalry skill levels 2. The notifications just kept coming like a machine gun of good news. 7 skills with a unique achievement bonus on top. My eyes were literally glowing gold. Not metaphorically. I think the system made them glow. 2 6-star armies. 2. Temujin's Mongol Cavalry and now Xia's Hussar Cavalry. The World Conqueror and the Desert Lightning Bolt. The Patient Strategist and the Teenage War God. I had Sima E for brains, Temujin for power, and now Xia for speed. This continent had absolutely no idea what was coming. I opened the Hussar Cavalry stat page like a kid ripping into a birthday present. These guys were basically ancient special forces. Every single soldier handpicked by Xia himself. And that man's recruitment standards made my citizenship requirements look like an open-door policy. Each Hussar was an elite among elites, capable of using every weapon you could name. Their skills were absolutely disgusting. They had fire element damage buffs, wind element speed boosts, and 3 different battle formations, each one designed for a completely different type of warfare. The Iron Hammer formation let them punch straight through enemy lines like a battering ram, dealing triple damage to formations. The Crescent Moon formation turned them into mounted archers who'd harass enemies until their lines collapsed, then move in for the kill with 5 times damage against light armor. And the Arrow Point formation? Specifically designed to fight other cavalry, with 10 times damage against mounted units. 10 times. If you're on a horse and you see these guys coming, just get off the horse. Actually, just lie down. It'll hurt less. I looked at the 800 Hussar cavalry lined up behind Xia. Red cloaks over black iron armor. Ring pommel sabers at their hips. Steel spears on their backs. Every single one standing next to a powerful warhorse that looked like it ate other horses for breakfast. From now on, you are the elite of Huaxia territory. Honestly though, their fashion was almost as impressive as their combat stats. Red and black. Classic. Timeless. My ancestors understood drip better than any modern designer ever could. But here's where things got awkward. I now had 2 6-star gold generals, and only 2 official positions in my level 4 territory, both already taken by Temujin and Sima Yi. Temujin was the obvious military commander, and Sima Yi's political abilities were higher than Xia's, so he was more valuable in the administrative role, which meant Xia, champion marquis, war god, conqueror of the northern steppes, was currently unemployed. Xia, I'm sorry about this. I follow whatever arrangement my lord sees fit. I patted his shoulder. Hang tight. Once the territory hits level 5, I'm making you a general immediately. Xia, thanks the Lord. All right, it's getting late. Go explore Huaxia territory and get familiar with the place. I'll have someone deliver a briefing on our current situation. Understood. Xia takes his leave. Now, I didn't rush him out because I suddenly had too many strong generals and got cocky about it. I had urgent business. The Lord Seal communication channel. I'd been so buried in internal spy drama and external warfare that I hadn't checked it in ages. And in a world this big, the communication channel was basically the internet, your only window into what was happening everywhere else. But let's be real. The other reason I opened it was to go shopping. We'd looted a Zuchi castle clean. I was sitting on mountains of resources. Katanas, Raiwo armor, random equipment I had zero use for. All of it going up on the trading market. I was so loaded right now that Huasha territory could shut down all operations for years, and my people would still eat well. I also had a group of Raiwo geisha entertainers that I had absolutely no idea what to do with. My first instinct was to list them on the trading market because Raiwo geisha were famous across the 9 provinces and would fetch a premium price. Then I found out they were just regular singers who'd been dragged along during the city migration without knowing anything about the military plans. Innocent civilians. So instead, I tossed them into the Red Romance Premium Club inside the city to continue performing. Added some exotic flair to the entertainment district, gave tourists another reason to spend money. Why couldn't the Eagle Clan or Lion Clan have migrated a city here instead? Then I could have assembled a complete international girl group at Red Romance. I shook that thought away and opened the communication channel while my goods were listing. The chat was on fire. And not the fun kind. The Little Island people are causing trouble again. Multiple Raiwo cities have popped up all over Central Province. Where are the top lords? These dogs are literally coming into our house to take a dump and nobody's doing anything. The top lords are busy grinding Orange Tier secret realms, hoarding resources, and recruiting generals for the nation-founding event. They don't have time to babysit. At least Red Star Alliance is doing something. They've sent people to fight back. Red Star Alliance is the GOAT. Every other alliance is acting blind. Disgusting. Forget the Raiwo problem. Has anyone heard about the Great Wall? The top lords pulled most of their troops from the wall to go raid secret realms. Demons have broken through at several points. My stomach dropped. What? The wall is breached. I just built a branch city in Mo's Snow Province. I'm so screwed. Never mind the wall. The beasts in the 100,000 mountains are swarming out too. Multiple beast tides. Can any kind lord lend me some troops? I'm about to become animal droppings. That's what you get for setting up near the 100,000 mountains without the strength to back it up. Deserved. I'm a girl though. Just sent you a private message. Accept it. Quick question. Standard market rates, right? Ah, humanity. Never changes. Not even in another dimension. I closed the channel with a heavy expression. The Great Wall situation was genuinely concerning. If the demon armies poured through those breaches into Central Province, it would be catastrophic for everyone. And it was happening because the top lords got greedy, pulling their forces from the wall to fight over secret realm loot right before the century catastrophe. Short-sighted idiots. The demons were literally at the gate, and these people were arguing over who got to open the treasure chest first. I dug through more posts about the wall situation. Most of it was useless noise. The key facts were, top lords withdrew most of their troops and generals from the wall to speed-run Orange Tier secret realms. Demons saw the opening and punched through several, minor, defensive points. Some faster lords had already finished their realm runs and were rushing troops back to patch the holes. I rubbed my forehead and sighed. Forget it. Nothing I can do about that right now. Huasha territory was still level 4. I wasn't even qualified to be assigned a branch city position on the Great Wall. The system only sent level 6 and above territories to defend Mo's Snow Province. Worrying about it now was like a freshman stressing about graduate school. Best thing I could do? Level up. Fast. Hit level 6. Build a branch city in Mo's Snow Province. Join the wall defense. And start farming merit points while holding back the demon tide. Until then, keep building, keep fighting, keep growing. The world was falling apart, and I needed to be strong enough to hold my piece of it together when the real storm hit. The days leading up to the level 5 upgrade were busy. Temujin was holding down Azuchi Castle, sorting out all the post-conquest chaos. Sima Yi was buried neck-deep in paperwork back at Huasha territory, processing 100,000 new citizens. And I mean processing, background checks, identity verification, career history documentation, skill assessments, all cross-referenced multiple times. With our tiny government staff, it was like trying to empty an ocean with a teaspoon. Even the Qingzhou soldiers had to put on civilian clothes and help with clerical work. Elite 5-star warriors filling out registration forms. Sima Yi was probably dying inside. And Huitsubing? That kid was a problem. I'd assigned him to sweep the surrounding area clean of demon lairs and beast nests, standard maintenance work, since if you leave those things alone they eventually attack your territory. Simple enough job, right? Wrong. This maniac was clearing them so fast I couldn't even track him. I'd check my true side eye, see his cavalry near the territory borders, Look away for literally 5 minutes. Check again. Gone. Vanished. Already hundreds of miles away, leaving a trail of destroyed layers behind him like a comet made of violence. Please don't start a war with anyone important, I muttered to myself. We're still in our growth phase. Low profile. Low profile. Telling Huitzubing to keep a low profile was like telling fire to be less warm. But a man can dream. Finally, after what felt like an eternity of staring at a countdown timer, the sweet chime of the system rang in my ears. Level 5. Finally. I didn't waste a single second. Opened the territory management page, switched to God view, and started placing every unlocked building I could. Residential housing went into the zones I'd pre-planned for civilian districts. Then came the recommendation hall. Assign a qualified general to it, and it would automatically identify talented individuals among the population and recommend them to me. Sure, I had true side eye and could technically scan everyone's talents myself. But with over 100,000 citizens now, checking each person individually would take until the heat death of the universe. The recommendation hall would do the scouting for me. Then the industrial department, the one I'd been dying to unlock. I placed it near the logistics hub, far from the residential areas. This was my direct control zone. Government stuff only. First order of business for the industrial department. Drain the lake sitting on top of my bloodthirst stone deposit. I gave them specific instructions. Redirect the water to maintain the water supply first, then start mining. Can't have my citizens dying of thirst while I'm getting rich. That's bad optics. With all that handled, I called Xia Yu in. Time for the main event. Branch City. I projected our compiled map onto the table. Every scout report, every terrain survey, all of it spread out in front of us. Zhongda, where should we build the military city? He stroked his chin thoughtfully. Huaxia territory is currently unbeatable at our level, and we have few rivals even within our tier. The real threats come from high-level territories and major alliances. However, since Huitzubing's Sealing Wolf Summit skill can convert conquered cities into branch cities anywhere, there's no rush to build far away for resource grabbing. He tapped a spot on the map. The military city should stay close to the main city. With the nation-founding event approaching, chaos is already spreading. We need to be able to reinforce the main city quickly. I recommend building directly opposite Water Margin Mountain. One stronghold to the north, one to the south, with Huaxia territory sandwiched safely between them. This gives us better intelligence coverage in both directions and doubles our defensive perimeter. The more he talked, the wider my grin got. You sneaky fox. You've been here barely a week and you've already figured out exactly how I think. You're too sharp for your own good, Zhongda. I've always appreciated people who can analyze a problem clearly, propose a specific solution, and explain why their solution works. Not like that one newly registered citizen who burst into my office a few days ago, declared he could build Huaxia territory better, demanded I give him an official position, and then proceeded to spout nothing but empty buzzwords. I nearly kicked him through the wall. After that incident, I tripled security between the residential district and the administrative zone just to keep ambitious idiots from ambushing me. Xia Yu just smiled modestly and stroked his beard. I merely speak to the facts at hand, my lord. Then we'll go with your facts. Let's build. We selected the location together. I confirmed the construction. 10 million resource points. Gone. Just like that. Poof. Vanished into thin air to create what was essentially an empty shell of a city. All the internal buildings would need additional resources to place and upgrade. Being a lord was basically a money-burning simulator with extra steps. The naming prompt appeared. I typed without hesitation. Jing City, named and done. Now to upgrade it. Branch cities start at level 1 and cap at the main city's level. I hit upgrade. My talent triggered. Of course it did. 100-fold time reduction on all territory and city upgrades. It was basically guaranteed at this point. What should have taken months would be done in minutes. I also noticed something interesting about my talents pattern. For territory and city upgrades, it triggered every single time without fail. For hero summoning, it was random, but I noticed it activated more often on higher grade summon items. Good to know for future gacha gambling. I placed all the buildings inside Jing City, then called for a messenger. Send word to Temujin. Take a roundabout route to Jing City and assume command there. And have logistics send provisions and essential supplies ahead of him. The roundabout route was critical. If Temujin marched straight from Azuchi Castle to Jing City, anyone tracking his mark would see a direct line pointing right at our territory. He needed to loop around, zigzag, make the trail as confusing as possible. As I was wrapping up, I noticed Sima Yi's brow was slightly furrowed. He had something on his mind. Zhongda? You look like you want to say something. Sima Yi opened his mouth, closed it, opened it again, and closed it. The man who outsmarted 3 generations of the Chow family was struggling to find words. This had to be bad. I patted his shoulder. Zhongda, since when are you shy around me? Just say it. He hesitated, then spoke carefully. My lord, Water Margin Mountain and Jing City now guard Huaxia territory from 2 sides. However, the soldiers and commanders at Water Margin Mountain are still extremely low level. Li Kuei's group can't hold their own as an equal defensive point alongside Jing City, which means Water Margin Mountain's strategic value is significantly diminished. He looked at me like he was delivering news that someone's favorite pet had died. I waved my hand. That's what you were worried about? Zhongda, relax. Send a bunch of berserkers to reinforce Li Kuei for now. We'll power them up later. See, Sima didn't know what Water Margin Mountain could become. But I did. Right now I only had Li Kuei up there. And yeah, he was basically running a barbecue restaurant that occasionally robbed people. But once I summoned Lin Chong the Panther Head, Lu Zhishin the Flower Monk, and the rest of the 108 heroes, that mountain would become legendary. Water Margin, 108 heroes. I will bring you all back on this continent. Just wait. Sima Yi nodded, satisfied with the temporary solution. Sending berserkers is a solid stopgap. But please do prioritize strengthening that position, my lord. Absolutely. Now, how's the internal stuff going? Running into any walls with all those new citizens? Nothing I'd call truly difficult. There were some troublemakers among the new arrivals. I arrested the ringleaders and had a few heads removed. Things have been much quieter since then. He said that so casually. Had a few heads removed, like he was talking about trimming hedges. The Raiwo spies left inside the city have all been cleaned out as well. The main challenge remains staffing. We simply don't have enough department heads to run everything properly. For the citizenship processing, I've recruited some of our earlier citizens to help, so it's still the not enough generals problem. I rubbed my chin. Over 100,000 citizens, and I'd only summoned about a dozen generals total. Even with talented civilians stepping up, my leadership corps was stretched thinner than paper. I'll speed up collecting summon items. One more thing, my lord. Huaxia territory still hasn't formed a single trade caravan. Without one, we have almost no intelligence on what's happening in the surrounding region. Your map expansion has also hit its limits. He was right. I'd actually planned to set up merchant caravans from day one, but between the lack of suitable candidates and the non-stop emergencies, it kept getting pushed down the to-do list. Good reminder, Zhongda. I'll issue orders to start building a trade caravan today. We were in the middle of swapping governance notes when my true sight, I picked up Hua Xiubing riding through the city gates at maximum speed. The kid jumped off his horse before it even stopped and was practically sprinting toward the Lord's mansion. Come on, our champion marquis is back. Let's go meet him. I walked out with Sima Yi just as Hua Xiubing arrived at the front door, slightly out of breath. My lord, strategist Sima, I was just coming to find you. Xiubing, what's got you so fired up? He was still a teenager at heart. No preamble, no diplomatic build-up, just straight to the point. My lord, 150 miles west of Huaxia territory, I found a massive fog bank. Inside it, dozens of demon lairs clustered together. Dozens? What level? His expression turned serious. Actually serious. From Hua Xiubing, that was alarming. Mostly level 6. Some are level 7. Before I could even respond, Sima Yi's head snapped up. West? 150 miles? My lord, when you first summoned me, I took the Qingzhou soldiers through that area and cleared every lair and beast nest. Even if new ones spawned, they shouldn't be that high level, and certainly not in those numbers. He was right. Something wasn't adding up. Level 7 demon lairs were high-tier territory. Normally only level 8 lords or exceptionally strong level 7 lords could handle those. And here they were, squatting 150 miles from my level 5 doorstep, in a spot that was clean just days ago. Xiubing, what else did you observe? The lairs aren't active. They're hiding under the fog, almost like they're building up to something. Well, at least they haven't moved yet. That's something. If those high-level lairs launched an attack, Guess who was first in line to get flattened? This guy? I thought for a moment, then made my decision. Xubing, your Hussar cavalry has the best speed and mobility we've got. Load up on supplies, ride out there immediately, and set up camp at a safe distance. Watch those lairs around the clock. Report any changes instantly. And do not engage. Understood. Yes, my lord. He was gone in seconds. Kid moved like lightning. Literally, his cavalry speed buffs probably violated some kind of physics law. I watched him ride off and felt a cold knot forming in my stomach. Sima Yi's point about those lairs not being there before, combined with what I'd read on the communication channel about the Great Wall being breached. Huaxia territory sat in the northern part of Central Province, not far from the border with Mo's Snow Province, Demon Territory. This is worse than I thought. Zhongda, get everything in order inside the city. Tighten emergency protocols. Prepare for war. As you command, my lord. After he left, I climbed to the top floor of the lord's mansion and stared out at my territory. Streets full of happy people. Merchants hawking their wares. Children running around. The smell of street food drifting up. Everything I'd built from nothing. I stood there, lost in thought, until my lord's seal buzzed. Didn't even need to check who it was. Only one person had me on their friends list. The walking treasure chest herself. Luo Kursin, the goblin princess who casually threw around blueprints worth more than most territories. Luo Kursin, big shot, you there? You there? Luo Kursin, big shot, I want to make a deal with you. A big one. Luo Kursin, big shot, please reply when you see this. Me. What kind of deal? Luo Kursin, big shot, your level must be pretty high by now, right? Me. It's alright, playing it cool. Let's see what this goblin heiress was cooking up. Luo Kursin, I got my hands on 2 tickets to an Orange Tier Secret Realm. My brain exploded. Orange Secret Realm? Orange Secret Realm. My eyeballs nearly shot out of my skull. Orange Tier Secret Realms were the second highest quality in all of 9 provinces. Only Gold Tier Realms ranked above them, and those were so rare that the instant one appeared, every top-tier power on the continent would dogpile it like Black Friday. Shoppers fighting over the last TV. I forced myself to calm down and typed back in my best, I'm a big deal, and this doesn't impress me voice. Me. How do we trade? Luo Kursin. Big shot. This realm has special rules, so can I ask you something first? Me. Go ahead. Luo Kursin. Do you have a 5-star orange general? I screenshot Sima Yi's attribute page and sent it over. Obviously, I only showed the stats, not the skills. I'm generous, not stupid. Luo Kursin. Big shot. Wow. These stats are top tier even among orange generals. I could practically feel her sparkling eyes through the screen. Me. How do we trade? She got the hint. No more fangirling. Luo Kursin. I provide the tickets. You provide the muscle. Rewards are system distributed. I frowned slightly. An orange secret realm with just my forces? My levels were low, my troop numbers were small. But she immediately followed up. It's not that I'm being greedy. This realm has special requirements. Hold on, I'll send you the ticket now. She opened a private trade channel. I bought the entry ticket for 1 resource point, basically free, and checked the details. Secret Realm, Terror of the Great Desert quality, orange level restriction, none participants, 6 tickets total. Maximum 2 people per race, paired into 3 groups. Requirements. Each group must have at least 1 orange tier or higher general. Maximum 800 soldiers per group. Rewards, unknown. No level restriction. Thank God, I exhaled hard. Normally, Orange Realms required at minimum a level 6 lord, sometimes higher. If that had been the case, I'm totally a powerful veteran lord, act would have crumbled like a wet cookie. Because I was, in fact, just a level 5 lord who happened to have slightly overpowered forces. The requirements also explained why Luo Kursin needed me specifically. 2 people per race, paired together, and each pair needed an orange general. She didn't have one. I did. Me. Deal. Time and place. Luo Kursin. The other 2 groups are already set, just waiting on us. Tomorrow work? And it's a void realm. We teleport directly in. No physical location. Void realm. Existed in the space between spaces. Not on the continent at all. Use the ticket, get teleported, start fighting. Convenient. Me. Works for me. Luo Kursin. Normally I'd bring 400 soldiers for my half, but since I don't have an orange general, I'd just drag you down. So tomorrow it's all you, big shot. I'm counting on you. Me. No problem. Honestly, this realm was tailor-made for my situation. No level requirements. Only 800 soldiers needed. Perfect for someone with elite troops, but small numbers. But something was bugging me. The 800 soldier limit felt suspicious. Most realms had troop limits, sure. But an orange tier realm capping you at 800? That was absurdly strict. Like showing up to fight a dragon and being told you could only bring a single squad. My gut was screaming that this realm was going to be absolutely brutal. The low soldier cap wasn't a kindness. It was a warning. Whatever was in there was going to be so dangerous that throwing more bodies at it wouldn't help. Well, worst case scenario, if it's too insane, we bail. My big shot reputation can take the hit. Decision made. I recalled Huatsubing from his monitoring position at the fog-covered demon lair cluster and sent Temujin's forces to take over the watch duty instead. This mission needed the champion marquee. The next morning, I stood in front of 800 Hussar cavalry, every single one of them staring forward with the kind of intensity that could melt steel. Subing, this is important. It's Huaxia territory's first ever secret realm expedition. A chance to grow our power significantly. Then I put my hand on his shoulder and looked him dead in the eyes. But you and your riders matter more than any reward. If things go sideways in there, you have my permission to abandon the challenge. Come home alive. That's an order. He dropped to one knee. The Hussar cavalry will not disappoint the Lord. Good. Move out. I activated the entry ticket. Reality bent, twisted, and I was standing in a pavilion. Traditional Dragon Clan style, curved roof, ornate pillars. Beside me was a woman with a great figure whose face was hidden behind a cloud of mist. The Void Realm had a privacy option to conceal your appearance. Smart. I immediately activated mine too. She bounced over to me. Big shot. You made it. I nodded coolly. Luo Kursin pointed at the two pavilions nearby. See those? The other two groups are the Eagle Clan and the Raiwo people. I followed her finger. One pavilion was a squat straw-roofed Japanese-style structure. The other was a round stone-domed building in Eagle Clan style. In the Raiwo pavilion sat two men with receding hairlines and tiny top knots. In the Eagle pavilion, one white guy, one black guy. Classic Eagle Clan energy. Every race's pavilion matched their architectural style, which was a nice touch. The Raiwo guys spotted us, and one of them muttered to his partner, "Humph, Dragon Clan. Central Province will belong to us eventually." Bold words for a race that just got one of their cities demolished by yours truly. But they didn't know that. Yet, the Eagle Clan pair was way more direct. No whispering. No subtlety. The white guy literally pointed at the two Raiwo men and shouted across the gap. What the F? Raiwo people have 5-star orange generals? Since when? The two Raiwo guys were seething inside. I could see their little top knots trembling with rage. The Eagle Clan has only existed for 200 years, and they have 5-star generals. But we can't. But the Eagle Clan was basically the Raiwo people's biggest backer and ally, so they couldn't talk back. They just smiled painfully and bowed. It's all thanks to the ranking system's generosity, haha. All thanks to the system. Watching them grovel made my skin crawl. Some things never changed, no matter what dimension you were in. The white Eagle Clan guy spat toward the Raiwo pavilion. The two Raiwo men just bent over and smiled like their spines were made of rubber. Couldn't afford to fight back. Their entire race basically survived on Eagle Clan hand-me-downs. Equipment, resources, political protection, all charity from Big Brother Eagle. But the second they finished bowing to the Eagle guys, they snapped their heads toward me with pure hatred in their eyes. It's all the Dragon Clan's fault. Why do they get to hog Central Province and all its resources? We are the greatest race in the 9 provinces, stuck on tiny islands. Once we take Central Province, we'll rule the world, greatest race. Stuck on tiny islands. Planning world domination. Sure, buddy. Dream big. Hey, Dragon Clan. What alliance are you from? The white eagle guy shouted at me. I was sitting in the center of my pavilion, sipping tea like I owned the place. Independent. Independent. He deactivated his face concealment, revealing a cocky grin. An independent lord dares enter an orange secret realm and compete with the beautiful alliance for loot. The two Raiwo guys nearly choked. The beautiful alliance. That was the Eagle Clan's largest and most powerful alliance. The biggest dog on the biggest porch. The Raiwo pair immediately started sweating with relief that they hadn't mouthed off earlier. Thank God we didn't pick a fight. We'd be dead. Meanwhile, I took another calm sip of tea. You're here? Why can't I be? The white guy's eyes narrowed. I know you Dragon Clan people have plenty of generals. But this time, you're going home empty-handed. I rested my chin on my fist. Less talking. Let's start. You. He was furious at being dismissed so casually. But then his eyes flickered with a thought. He turned around and whispered something to the black woman sitting on their couch. She waved her hand and dropped her face concealment too. He turned back with a renewed smile. Fine then. Let's begin. All three groups hit start simultaneously. The pavilions lifted into the air above a vast, endless desert stretching to every horizon. Below us, our soldiers materialized on the sand, ready for combat. This was Terror of the Great Desert. The challenge rules appeared. The system would randomly assign turn order. Whichever group defeated the most enemies won. If two groups tied on kills, the one with fewer casualties took the prize. Simple, brutal, perfect. Then came the part that made my eye twitch. Would you like to project this realm to the communication channel? The two Eagle Clan people were grinning ear to ear. The white one, apparently named Tangda, turned to his partner. Miss Sasha, looks like we've got this in the bag. Those two old men back home are going to be so impressed. The black woman, Sasha, waved dismissively. Tangda, stop bragging. You said you had some fun planned? Get on with it. Tangda snickered and clicked yes on the projection option. Then he leaned toward the Raiwo pavilion and snarled. Hey, Raiwo people. I strongly suggest you click yes too. Unless you want Miss Sasha here to get upset. And trust me, you do not want that. As Sasha, the two Raiwo men went pale. Whatever reputation this woman had, it was enough to make them slam that yes button like their lives depended on it. Luo Kursin tugged my sleeve urgently. Big shot they? Yeah. I knew exactly what just happened. See, if more than half the participants chose to project, the entire Secret Realm battle would be live-streamed to the communication channel. And since this was a multi-race competition, it would broadcast on the World Channel. Every single lord on the 9 provinces continent would be watching. That meant every general skill, every troop ability, every tactical move, all exposed. To everyone. The projection had its uses. Big alliances loved it for recruitment and propaganda. But for someone like me who was trying to keep a low profile, it was a nightmare. Big shot, I'm so sorry. I never expected this. After it's over, I'll compensate you. I promise. Luo Kursin was genuinely distressed. She'd invited me, and now my orange tier general skills were about to be broadcast to the entire world. Every lord would see exactly what my forces could do. In future battles, they'd already know my playbook. But honestly, I wasn't that worried. They were going to see Hua Tsubing's abilities, not Sima Yi's, not Temujin's. I had more cards up my sleeve than they could imagine. What actually concerned me was the Eagle Clan's real motive. If they projected, their own skills would be exposed too, which meant this wasn't just about revealing MY information. They want to embarrass us. Make the Dragon Clan look bad in front of the entire world. Luo Kursin froze. Then her fists clenched. Big shot. Should we just quit? Losing face personally is one thing, but if we embarrass the entire Dragon Clan, humiliating yourself was whatever. Humiliating your entire race on a global broadcast? That would make you a villain in Dragon Clan history. I looked at the two Eagle Clan members. They were about my age. Probably entered the 9 provinces around the same time I did. No need to quit. They're not much older than me. Can't have been here much longer. I'm confident. My pioneer achievement wasn't for decoration. Among lords of the same generation, I had a head start that nobody could match. And I wasn't about to surrender an entire orange secret realm because some cocky eagle kid wanted to play mind games. Okay, go get him. Big shot. Luo Kursin gave me a little fist pump of encouragement. Cute. You want to play games? Fine. I'll play. I clicked yes on the projection. The broadcast went live, and within seconds, the World Channel exploded with viewers. Orange Secret Realm live streams were rarer than gold general summons. Everyone wanted to watch. First, get your snacks and drinks ready, boys, front row seats to an orange realm. So this is what an orange secret realm looks like. Just endless desert? Kind of depressing. I can't believe I'm actually seeing an orange realm in my lifetime. Yoshi. I see Raiwo architecture. Our people are in there. Raiwo pride. You mean that straw hut? Baka? How dare you insult our exquisite traditional architecture? Yo, that stone building with the couch is Eagle Clan. Classy as always. Puffed. Look at the Dragon Clan pavilion, though. 3 stories, layered brick and tile, curved eaves. That's real architecture. You uncultured barbarians could never. Seriously, compared to Dragon Clan buildings, the rest look like a grass shack next to a garden shed. The craftsmanship is incredible. I'm Bear Clan. And even I'm impressed. Excuse me, that pavilion is actually Korean. I mean Stick Clan. We have historical records proving the Dragon Clan stole our architectural style. Every single time. Without fail. Some things truly were universal constants across all dimensions. The World Channel was going absolutely nuclear with commentary. Wait, hold on. Are those 2 Eagle Clan people who I think they are? Those are the children of the Americana Alliance's top leaders. The white guy is Tang Da, son of the Vice Alliance Master, Chuan Te. The black girl is Salisha, daughter of the Alliance Master, Lu Xian. The chat went silent for about half a second, then exploded. The Americana Alliance? The strongest alliance on the entire continent. How are they the strongest? Do they even have famous generals? It's not about generals. Eagle Clan talents are mostly tech-related. They have weapons of mass destruction. Sci-fi stuff. They'd be nothing if our Dragon Clan top lords would stop fighting each other and unite for 5 minutes. True, but right now the 2 biggest powers on the continent are the Dragon Clan and Eagle Clan. Excuse me? It's obviously the Asen Clan and Eagle Clan who are the strongest. The entire chat is laughing at you right now. Oh, and I heard an Eagle Clan lord recently summoned a 6-star gold general. What? Eagle Clan has a gold general? Looks like this realm belongs to the Eagle Clan then. That gold general is definitely from the Americana Alliance. Dragon Clan and Raiwo Clan are just here to watch. Huh. Tangda read all of this and shouted across at me with the smuggest face I'd ever seen. Hey, Dragon Clan. Still sure you want to participate? Who knows? Maybe our General is that gold tier 1 everyone's talking about. He stared at me, waiting for a reaction. Luo Kursin tugged my sleeve nervously. She was still young, and the chat comments were getting to her. I didn't even look at Tangda, just stared down at the desert below and said flatly, "Start the random order." Tangda looked like he'd punched a cloud. All that build-up, all that intimidation, and I gave him nothing. His face turned red with frustration, but since our pavilions were in separate spaces, he couldn't exactly storm over and get in my face. So he just angrily clicked the dice for the random order selection. Results. Raiwo goes first. Eagle Clan second. Me and Luo Kursin third. Tangda clicked his tongue. Second? I wanted first. Whatever. We'll just finish the whole thing ourselves so the Dragon Clan doesn't even need to show up. Salisha, rested her chin on her hand. Actually, this works. Let the Raiwo people go first and scout the situation. We go second and crush whatever's left. And the Dragon Clan in third place? They won't even get a chance to compete. We'll have already won. Ha! Great minds think alike. Sasha. Meanwhile, in the straw hut, the 2 Raiwo guys were huddled together panicking. Vice Alliance Master, what do we do? Those are the Americana Alliance's prince and princess. Should we throw the match as a gesture of respect? The Vice Master thought long and hard, then shook his head. No. Everything's chaos now. Once the nation-founding opportunity arrives, today's masters could be tomorrow's servants. We can't give up an orange secret realm. HAI. Let's go, oh no. Time to surprise everyone. They clicked start. The challenge details appeared for everyone to see. 800 versus 80,000. Score based on total enemies defeated. In case of tied kills, lowest casualties wins. Time limit, 2 hours. Quitting forfeits your score. 800 soldiers against 80,000. And not just any 80,000. These were orange tier realm enemies. Elite monsters in an elite dungeon. The World Channel had a collective aneurysm. 800 versus 80,000? What are you supposed to fight with? Harsh language. It's an orange realm. Those enemies are all orange tier. This is impossible. Read the rules. Genius. You don't have to kill all 80,000. You just need to kill more than the other teams. Even a few hundred kills could win if everyone else does worse. Yeah, but you have to survive 2 hours. Quit and your score is erased. It's not just some orange enemies. It's 80,000 orange enemies. 2 hours of that could grind your entire army to dust. Only way is hit-and-run tactics. If you're fast enough and have enough stamina, maybe you survive the timer. Huh? You're all scared of 80,000? My ace in clan once fielded 100 million soldiers in a single battle. Bro, your history books are less believable than comic books. Sit down. Back in the straw hut, the younger Raiwo guy was shaking. Vice Master, should we quit? Matsudaira is one of our rare orange generals. We can't lose him. The Vice Master's face was dark as a thundercloud. The entire world is watching. We cannot disgrace the Raiwo people. Besides, Matsudaira is known as the Divine Lord of the East. We must trust in his abilities. He can endure 2 hours. HAI. Ono trembled as he pressed the button. Their soldiers materialized on the sand below. The World Channel immediately pounced. Oh snap, the Raiwo actually started the challenge. Gotta admit, didn't expect them to have the guts. They're probably going to bow to the enemy, surrender, sell themselves, and beg the monsters to let them survive for 2 hours. Baka, how dare you insult the great Raiwo people? Unforgivable. I'd like to clarify, the Raiwo people do not bow to enemies. Wait. Check the username on that clarification post. Holy. That's Chuan Te, the Americana Alliance Vice Master. He's defending the Raiwo. What exactly is he clarifying here? That they do everything except the bowing part? The Raiwo and Eagle relationship is grossing me out. The Raiwo Vice Master up in his pavilion was reading all of this with a face that looked like he'd been eating lemons dipped in poison. But the person defending his people was the Americana Alliance's Vice Master himself. So he swallowed his dignity, ignored it, and shouted down to his general. Matsudaira, no matter what, hold for 2 hours, down on the sand. A man in armor with a shaved head and a small top knot opened his eyes slowly. Hold for 2 hours. He stood up, gripping his weapon. I choose total annihilation. That's the weapon general of the Samurai Alliance's Vice Master. 5-star Orange General, Matsudaira Ayasu. The World Channel went wild when they identified him. And once his cover was blown, the Vice Master dropped his face concealment too. I looked at the old man and felt a jolt of recognition. If Temujin were here, he'd have spotted it immediately. This was the same old guy who appeared from Yukimura's jade pendant and cursed us with the tracking mark. The Samurai Alliance Vice Master himself, sitting in a straw hut pavilion not 50 meters from me. Small world. Very small world. Matsudaira Ayasu materialized on the sand below. And from the far side of the desert, the enemy appeared. 80,000. Mounted warriors. Long bows on their backs, long sabers at their hips, riding horses in a massive wave of dust and steel. I squinted at them and did a double take. Hold on. They look like Mongol cavalry. Same gear. Same riding style. Same formation approach. If I didn't know better, I'd think someone had copied Temujin's homework. The Raiwo Vice Master's face went pale. Baka. Cavalry. This is terrible for Matsudaira. And Matsudaira himself, the guy who just declared, I choose total annihilation, 5 seconds ago, was now staring at 80,000 charging horsemen, and his legs were visibly shaking. Bold words, wobbly knees. To his credit, he recovered fast. He noticed the enemies were only level 1, and he was level 10. Massive stat advantage. He could work with that. But while he was busy thinking, the enemy didn't wait for him to finish. Charge first, arrows second. A wall of projectiles came screaming across the desert before the cavalry even arrived. I was watching this with my best confused face. Seriously, that tactic is exactly the same as the Mongol cavalry. Are these knockoffs? Spread out. Dodge the charge. Matsudaira screamed at his troops. His soldiers were 5-star orange, level 10 veterans. They reacted quickly. But, quickly, doesn't help much when 80,000 horsemen are bearing down on 800. First contact cost him dozens of soldiers. Though, being max level, each of his guys took out about 10 enemies before going down. A 1-to-10 trade ratio. Then the Vice Master up in his pavilion made what might be the single dumbest battlefield decision I have ever witnessed in any lifetime. He stood up and shouted down to his general, in front of the entire world, Matsudaira, survive for 2 hours no matter what. The other soldiers don't matter. Sacrifice them if you need to. If things get bad, wave at me and I'll forfeit the challenge. He literally just told his soldiers, on a global broadcast, that their lives meant nothing and they were disposable meat shields. Matsudaira's face went black with fury. He'd been planning to do exactly that, sacrifice troops to protect himself. But you don't say it out loud. That's like a restaurant chef telling customers he dropped their steak on the floor, but served it anyway. The result is the same, but now everyone knows. Soldier morale cratered instantly. The 1-to-10 kill ratio dropped to 1-to-5. These were living, breathing warriors who'd just been told by their own lord that they were expendable. On live television, in front of the entire world, the World Channel was merciless. Is this Vice Master's talent demoralize own troops? Because that speech hit harder than the enemy arrows. One sentence and half his army went limp. This guy should be classified as a biological weapon against his own side. This is the Samurai Alliance's Vice Master? I could strap a weapon to a dog and get better results. As a member of the Asen clan, I can confirm this is normal for village-level warfare. 3 bro, please stop. Nobody asked. And where are the Stick Clan people? Aren't they going to claim Matsudaira is secretly Korean? After careful review of our historical records, I can confirm the Stick Clan has no connection to Matsudaira Ieyasu. He is not ours. Elmio, even the Stick Clan doesn't want him. Matsudaira spent the next 2 hours running. Just running. Across an endless desert, with a shrinking escort, being chased by tens of thousands of horsemen. From our pavilions above, he eventually ran so far we couldn't even see him anymore. Had to watch through the World Channel projection. This is boring. These Raiwo guys are Olympic sprinters apparently. This is the Samurai Alliance? The Vice Master? I'd get a better show watching paint dry. Confirmed village warrior. Not even a good village warrior. I went and checked our history books specifically to make sure. The Stick Clan absolutely does not claim Matsudaira. He is definitely not ours. The Vice Master up in his pavilion had stopped reading the chat entirely. Just staring at the projection, white-knuckled, praying his general would survive. Finally, after the last soldier fell and Matsudaira spent the remaining time running solo across the sand like a scared rabbit, the 2 hours ended. Raiwo challenge complete. Enemies defeated, 4,500. Own casualties, 800, total loss. Final score, 2.5. The Vice Master's face looked like he'd been slapped with a frozen fish. The World Channel. Isn't 2.0 literally the minimum score for any secret realm? 2.5. A leash dog could have scored that. Meanwhile, Tangda casually picked at his ear and shouted across at the old Raiwo man. Hey, old man, get your village warrior back up here and stop wasting my time. The Vice Master was seething. Lost all 800 soldiers. Humiliated on a global broadcast. And now being openly disrespected by the son of his political patron. But since it was Chuan Ti's kid, he couldn't retaliate. He just swallowed his rage and recalled Matsudaira, who crawled back covered head to toe in yellow desert sand. Tangda shot the Raiwo pavilion one last mocking look. Then he turned to me, face hardening. Hey, Dragon Clan. You don't even need to take your turn. He pointed down at the desert with absolute confidence. Let me show you what a real Eagle Clan general looks like. 6-star gold general, the divine axe of fallen cherry blossoms. Washington. Tangda's words echoed across the desert, and his general appeared on the sand below. Washington, with extra steps, the founding father of the Eagle Clan. Behind him stood 800 soldiers on white horses carrying long spears. 6-star troops, artillerymen. The World Channel went absolutely berserk. 6-star gold? How many years has it been since anyone's seen one of those? This realm belongs to the Americana Alliance. Pack it up, boys. How does a race that's only existed for a few hundred years have a gold general? Someone actually gave a helpful explanation for once. Washington was originally from the Sunset Clan. He founded the Eagle Clan single-handedly. He's literally called the father of the Eagles. Being rated 6-star gold makes perfect sense. Eagle Clan talents are already biased toward weapons technology. Now they have a gold general too? When the nation founding event starts, they're going to be first in line. Yoshi. My Eagle Daddy is amazing. The Raiwo people really can't stop licking boots, huh? You're just jealous that when our firm ally dominates the 9 provinces, you Dragon Clan people will be stray dogs. Then Chuan Te, the Americana Alliance Vice Master himself, posted in the chat. Who the F said you're our allies? You're just our dogs. Know your place. The entire World Channel went dead silent for 3 seconds. then exploded with laughter. Say what you want about Chuan Ti's leadership skills, but the man has a way with words. That was a verbal execution broadcast live to millions. I couldn't help but crack a small grin myself. Even broken clocks are right twice a day. But the mood in the chat shifted quickly. Everyone was looking at the matchup and doing the math. 6-star gold general with modified artillery troops? It's over. The Dragon Clan pair won't even need to show up. This is Eagle Clan's game. No contest. Open the betting pool. 500,000 resource points on Eagle Clan winning. 200,000 on Eagle Clan. 1 million on Eagle Clan. If everyone bets on Eagle Clan, who's paying out? The betting pool was filling up fast. All one direction. Every single bet on the Eagle Clan. Tangda flashed his big white teeth at me. Dragon Clan, you can still quit. Save yourself the embarrassment. I didn't look at him. I was busy tapping my Lord Seal. Since nobody's betting on the other side, I'll do it myself. 50 million resource points. On me winning. The pool had hit 50 million on the Eagle side. So I matched it. 50 million, just like that. The World Channel gasped. This Dragon Clan Lord is insane. Wait, look at his username. Isn't that Xia Yu? The guy wanted by the Red Crow Alliance. Holy, it is him. Red Crow said he was just a level 6 Lord. But he's in an orange realm throwing around 50 million like pocket change? No way he's level 6. Must be a different Xia Yu. Tangda's eyes lit up with greed and arrogance. Well. The sick man of Central Province thinks he can beat the father of the Eagles? Then let's make this interesting. He turned to Sasha. Give me the funds. All of them. But that money was supposed to. All. Of. It. Are you telling me you don't believe in our own founding father? Sasha hesitated. But with the entire world watching, she couldn't argue. She transferred the resources. Tangda turned back with a grin that could have swallowed the sun. 200 million. I bet 200 million resource points that Eagle Clan wins. 200 million. These kids, roughly my age, just casually pulled out 200 million like it was lunch money. The privilege of being born into a top alliance. Their parents probably sent them care packages worth more than most territories. 200 million. I had a problem. A very real, very embarrassing problem. I'd only been in the 9 provinces for about a month. Sure, I'd looted Azuchi Castle clean, but all of that money had gone into territory development, building Jing City, and settling 100,000 new citizens. After my initial 50 million bet, I had barely a million resource points left. I was, technically speaking, almost broke. What's wrong, Dragon Clan Lord? You can enter an orange realm, but can't scrape together a couple 100 million? I thought Central Province was famous for being rich. Was that all talk? Then a small hand tugged my sleeve. Big shot. I have it. Luo Kurson quietly transferred resources to my Lord Seal. 300 million. I stared at the number. This girl, the same girl who couldn't even scrape together a few 100,000 when we first met and had to barter with blueprints, just dropped 300 million into my account. She caught my look and scratched her head with a sheepish grin. It's all thanks to that Iron Cavalry black armor blueprint you gave me. Before that, I couldn't even leave my territory safely. Now look at me. I wanted to ask questions. Many questions. How did she go from broke goblin princess to secretly loaded in such a short time? But now wasn't the moment. I'll pay you back. I dumped 200 million into the pool without blinking. The World Channel was losing its collective mind. Tangda raised his bet. I matched. He pushed higher. I matched again. Back and forth, the pool kept climbing. Every time one side added, I added the same. Every single time. The final pool locked in at 700 million resource points. 350 million on each side. Me versus the Americana Alliance's Golden Children. 700 million. The biggest bet in 9 provinces history. Over 1 million lords from every corner of the world had piled into the projection room to watch. The chat was scrolling so fast it was basically a blur. Tangda slammed the challenge button with supreme confidence. Challenge. 80,000 horsemen materialized again on the sand. Same formation, same numbers, same desert. Lined up across from Washington and his 800 artillerymen. The bet was locked. The stakes were set. 1 million spectators were watching. Let's play. Charge. Same script, same opening move. Arrows flying before the cavalry even arrived. Washington, Eagle Clan's founding father, responded immediately. Evade the charge. Mobile warfare. Now, Washington was only level 1. same as the enemies. He'd been recently summoned and hadn't had time to level up. But he was a gold tier general, and gold tier base stats crushed orange tier even at equal levels. His first exchange was incredible, lost only single digits of soldiers while killing over 100 enemies. The world channel was drooling. That's gold tier for you. Outnumbered 100 to 1, and he barely lost anyone. Gold troops are on another level compared to orange. His soldiers are mounted and have cannons. Long range, high damage, speed buffs. Perfect for guerrilla tactics. At this 1 to 100 kill ratio, he might actually wipe all 80,000. Eagle Clan first place. Dragon Clan and Raiwo can fight over second. Don't lump us Dragon Clan with those island clowns. We'll take second, but we're not fighting the Raiwo for it. Their 2.5 score was a pity grade, but the smarter viewers in the chat saw what was coming. This is only the first wave. Washington had the advantage of watching the Raiwo go first. He came in prepared. The ratio won't stay this good, and they were right. After that brilliant opening, the kill ratio dropped steadily. First wave, 1 to 100. Then 1 to 50. Then 1 to 20 as his artillerymen kept getting picked off. When he was down to his last 200 soldiers, Washington made his move. Reload. Switch ammunition. The remaining 200 artillerymen pulled out completely different bullets. The charging enemy cavalry started slowing down, and then Washington gave the order. Fire. The sound changed. Before it was whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Now it was bang, bang, bang. These new bullets were devastating. Previously, enemies could survive a non-critical hit. Now, getting grazed knocked them clean off their horses. One shot was punching through 3 or 4 riders at once. Tangda grinned like a shark. Let me show you what Eagle-class equipment looks like. The world channel exploded. They upgraded those guns. Eagle Clan definitely modified their weapons with something special. From 3 shots to kill 1 guy to 1 shot killing 3? That's insane. I heard the Americana Alliance raided an orange realm recently and got some special crafting materials. Must be what they used. Special materials showing up in high-tier realms that nobody's seen before. Chaos breeds miracles, I guess. Mr. Chuante, sir, I'm sorry about earlier. Could you maybe help us upgrade our equipment too? Chuante's response. Lick my censored. I just threw up my breakfast. With those enhanced bullets, Washington and his last 200 soldiers went on a guerrilla rampage, killing 30,000 enemies. The first 600 soldiers had only managed 20,000 combined. This was why the Eagle Clan could be so arrogant. Their technology advantage was absolutely real. But even special ammo runs out. Once the enhanced bullets were gone, casualties spiked again. When he was down to 20 artillerymen, Washington didn't hesitate, ordered them to cover his retreat. The clock finally hit 0 with only 8 soldiers left alive around him. Eagle Clan challenge complete. Enemies defeated, 52,232. Own casualties, 792. Final score, 8.0. Only 8? I thought they'd do better. Only 8? Do you have any idea what 8.0 means in an orange realm? That's high-tier scoring. Past 8.0, every 0.1 point increase is nearly impossible, but I get 9.0 every time I run a realm. Oh wow, really? What level are you? Just hit level 7. What realm quality? White. You absolute moron. A high-level lord scoring 9.0 in a white realm is like an adult beating a toddler at arm wrestling. This is orange. My dog could outscore you in a white realm. Phew, thought I'd accidentally insulted a real expert there for a second. The chat quickly turned against me. 8.0 in an orange realm. Eagle Clan wins. It's over. Yoshi. I bet my entire territory on Eagle Clan. I'm rich. Dragon Clan should just forfeit and let us collect our winnings. Yeah, no point going up there. Just hand over the money. Tangda's message popped up. Hey Dragon Clan. Still want to go? Or should we just settle up? Luo Kursin was biting her lip nervously. 8 points in an orange realm was genuinely insane. Beating that seemed almost impossible. She poked my arm. Big shot. Here's the thing. I'd been watching the Raiwo guy run around the desert for 2 hours, then the Eagle guy run around for another 2 hours. For hours of watching other people play tag in a sandbox. I'd fallen asleep. My turn. All that running around really put me to sleep. I clicked, challenge, before even asking what had happened. Huatsubing and 800 Hussar cavalry materialized on the sand. The hot desert wind blew grit across his face. He stood there, eyes closed for a moment, breathing it in. "This feels familiar," he murmured. "Just like the Gobi Desert back then." The realm generated 80,000 identical enemies, same mounted warriors, same bows and sabers, same formation as the previous 2 rounds. Huatsubing opened his eyes and looked at them, really looked at them. Their armor, their riding style, their formation patterns, their weapons. A slow, almost nostalgic smile spread across his face. Xiongnu, huh? He adjusted his grip on his spear. Old friends. The World Channel was going crazy the second my soldiers appeared on screen. Okay, the guy fell asleep during an Orange Realm challenge, but those soldiers look incredible. Red cloaks, black armor, strong horses. That's drip. Which general is that? I want one. Cool looking or not. There's 80,000 enemies over there. Buddy, Washington had speed, range, and special ammo, and still barely got 52,000 kills with nearly total losses. No way this Dragon Clan general beats that. Should get second place though. Better than the Raiwo at least. Hurry up and start. I bet my wife and kids on this. I need that payout. I checked our historical records. This is actually a Stick Clan general that the Dragon Clan stole from us. Adorable. All of them. Absolutely adorable. Down on the sand. Huatsubing was doing something that neither Matsudaira nor Washington had done. He wasn't calculating escape routes. He wasn't planning defensive formations. He wasn't shaking. He closed his eyes, breathed in the desert air, let the sand sting his face like an old friend's greeting. Then his eyes snapped open, sharp as knife edges, and he roared at his 800 Hussars. "Brothers, we're back in familiar territory, and those people across from us, you know them. Are you ready?" 800 men. But when they answered, it sounded like a million. Yes, yes, yes. Huatsubing ripped his hooked spear from his back and thrust it toward the sky. Switched to long spears. We ride against the Xiongnu once more. For the glory of Huaxia. 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 Every single Hussar gripped their steel spears. Every horse tensed its muscles. And then, charge! Huatsubing pointed his spear forward, and 800 Hussar cavalry launched themselves directly at 80,000 Xiongnu horsemen. The World Channel had a collective stroke. Is this Dragon Clan general a moron? He's charging 80,000 cavalry head-on. He'll be trampled into paste. All show, no substance. This guy's an idiot. 800 versus 80,000 in a head-on collision? Has he ever been in a battle? I apologize to the Raiwo people. I was wrong to call your general a village warrior. The Dragon Clan's general is the real village idiot. After careful review, the Stick Clan confirms we have no connection to this general. Our historical records prove this garbage warrior belongs to the Dragon Clan. Every Dragon Clan lord in the chat went dead silent. Not a single defender. Not one word. Big shot. Luo Kursin was bouncing between staring at the battlefield below and staring at me lounging in my chair. Relax. Didn't you hear him? They're old friends. Just let them catch up. She had no idea what to do with that information. She clasped her hands against her chest, heart hammering, and when the two forces were about to collide, she actually squeezed her eyes shut. Then something happened that nobody, not a single one of the million-plus viewers, expected. The Xiongnu charged forward at full speed. Arrows flying, sabers drawn, 80,000 strong. And then the ones in front saw Huatsubing's face. The Xiongnu commander's entire body seized up. He yanked his reins so hard his horse nearly flipped. It's Huatsubing. Run. Ruin. The soldiers behind him heard the name and broke out in cold sweat. Every single one. 80,000 trained warriors, instantly drenched in terror. They'd felt something wrong the moment that small force charged them head-on with zero fear. Some nagging memory from a past they couldn't quite place. A warning buried deep in their bones. And now they knew why. But 80,000 horsemen can't stop on a dime. The ones in front tried to slow down while the ones in back were still charging. Horses collided. Riders crashed. The formation collapsed into pure chaos. A stampede of panicked cavalry trampling each other in a desperate attempt to turn around, and FLE. 80,000 elite orange-tier warriors. Reduced to a screaming mess. By one name. The World Channel was frozen in absolute shock. What? What just happened? Did the realm glitch? Why did 80,000 soldiers just stop? Unfair. Fake. The realm is bugged. 80,000 troops don't just collapse from a charge of 800. Redo the match. Even if he somehow wins like this, it's not a real victory. Restart. This dragon general can't even fight. It's pure dumb luck. Restart. The bet doesn't count if the realm is broken. I bet 5 million on this. That's everything I own. This is fraud. Let's wait and see. The enemy formation is broken, sure, but 800 soldiers are still surrounded by tens of thousands. They'll be swallowed up. Exactly. Even if the charge succeeds, they're just sheep walking into a tiger's den. They'll be slaughtered. Just like what we Raiwo people did 100 years ago. I'd been ignoring the chat this whole time. But that last comment made me sit up. I typed one message. Me. Sakamoto, right? I'll remember that name. Baka, you're threatening me? I, Sakamoto Saburo, will set foot on Central Province soil again someday. Sure you will, buddy. Sure you will. Down on the battlefield, Huitsubing had no idea about any of this. He was in his element. The desert. The dust. The Xiongnu. Just like old times. He saw the enemy formation crumbling before contact was even made. Didn't even blink. Just did what he was born to do. Iron Hammer Formation. HA. 800 Hussar cavalry snapped into an attack wedge, a human battering ram shaped like a spear tip, and slammed into the disintegrating Xiongnu mass at impossible speed. Defense boosted. Attack boosted. Huitsubing's personal attack power surged by 1,000 points, and his formation gained the pierce effect, triple damage to enemy formations. They punched through 80,000 Xiongnu like a hot needle through butter. Everything within 20 meters of Huitsubing? Instant death. Not wounded. Not injured. Dead. Erased from existence. Every single lord watching the projection wore the same expression. Mouth open, eyes wide, brain offline. The Xiongnu, already terrified, saw this and completely lost it. They didn't wait for orders from their commander. Weapons hit the sand. Horses turned. And 80,000 of the greatest horsemen in ancient history ran for their lives across the desert like scared rabbits. Huitsubing didn't even pause. Arrow point formation, HA. The Hussars shifted into pursuit configuration, the formation specifically designed for chasing down cavalry. Speed boosted. Attack up another 200. And the arrow point skill activated. 10 times damage against mounted enemies. 10 times. Against fleeing cavalry. In open desert. This wasn't a battle anymore. This was a hunt. What happened over the next hour broke the brains of every single lord watching across the entire 9 provinces continent. This wasn't like Matsudaira running for his life across the desert. This wasn't like Washington using special ammo and guerrilla tactics and still losing 792 soldiers. This was a level 1 general leading 800 men in a straight-up hunt of 80,000 Xiongnu horsemen across an endless desert. No running. No tricks. No sacrificing soldiers as meat shields. Huitsubing rode at the front, spear in hand, and his hussars followed him like wolves chasing sheep. For 1 solid hour, the Xiongnu couldn't fight back. They couldn't organize. They couldn't even run fast enough. Every time they tried to regroup, the arrow point formation carved through them like a hot knife. 10 times damage against cavalry in an open desert against enemies who were already psychologically shattered. It was a slaughter so one-sided it stopped being scary and started being art. Then the system announcement hit. Dragon Clan Challenge complete. Time used, 1 hour exactly. Battle report. Enemies defeated, 80,000. Own casualties, 0. Final score, 10. P-perfect score. Luo Kursin had been emotionally battered for the past hour watching twist after impossible twist. She'd already accepted that Huitsubing's score would be higher than Washington's. But 10? A perfect 10? Because a perfect 10 in a secret realm didn't just mean, good job. A perfect 10 meant you won ownership of the entire realm. The world channel detonated like a nuclear bomb. 10. 10. 10. It's a perfect 10. Dragon Clan forever. 0 casualties. Who else? I dare anyone to step up. Who else? 10 means realm ownership. Orange realm ownership. Do you people understand what that means? I literally cannot speak. 800 versus 80,000. Score 10. I have no words left. Past 8.0, every 0.1 increase is nearly impossible. One tiny mistake, and the score plummets. And he got 10. Forget the score. This lord now owns an orange secret realm. Owns what? A desert? Congratulations on your sand collection. Worst orange realm ever. Are you stupid? Those 80,000 fully equipped 5-star orange tier Xia Yu soldiers all belong to him now. The realm, the troops, everything. What? He gets the soldiers too, but of course, not everyone was celebrating. Unfair. The realm glitched at the start. The enemy formation collapsed on its own. The Dragon Clan only won because of a bug. Sakamoto is right. They cheated. That 10 is fake. It's a shameful score. Pure luck? Make the Raiwo and Eagle Clan demand a redo. Give us our money back. This doesn't count. I'd rather burn my bet money than let Dragon Clan have it. And then, like clockwork, the Stick Clan showed up. Attention, everyone. I have rechecked our historical records and can confirm this general is originally from the Stick Clan. The Dragon Clan stole him. This is documented. They've been stealing our cultural heritage for centuries, even though he was summoned by a Dragon Clan lord. Setting aside the facts, I believe this Dragon Lord should return this general to us. I'm certain dark sorcery was involved. Can you guarantee this evil Dragon Lord won't use black magic to steal your race's generals next? Return our general. Return our general. Return our general. The Dragon Clan lords had been treating the Stick Clan as comic relief this entire time. But, setting aside the facts, finally broke them. Setting aside the facts? Then what were you talking about for the last 5 paragraphs? Setting aside the facts. You're my son, and I'm your father. Setting aside the facts. I gave birth to your grandfather. Setting aside the facts. Your last 18 generations of ancestors were produced by me. Setting aside the facts. The Stick Clan is just the Dragon Clan's rebellious child. Oh wait, that one doesn't need the setting aside part. That's just actual history. When you come crawling back to the family, I'm spanking every last one of you. While the chat was having a complete meltdown, Huitzubing was recalled to my pavilion. When Washington got recalled, he brought his surviving 8 artillerymen with him. When Matsudaira got recalled, he came alone because everyone else was dead. When Huitzubing got recalled, he came alone too, but not because his soldiers died. The pavilion literally couldn't fit all 800 of them. They were all still alive, standing on the sand below, completely unharmed. And unlike Matsudaira, who looked like he'd been through a washing machine filled with rocks, or Washington, who was coated in dust and barely standing, Huitzubing looked fresh, alert, energized, ready for round 2. His armor wasn't clean, though. It was drenched in blood, but not his blood. Xiong Yu blood. He clasped his fist and addressed me in a clear, ringing voice. My lord, mission accomplished. Then, quieter. Forgive me for not kneeling. The battle armor makes it difficult. By Dragon Clan tradition, a general reporting after battle should kneel on one knee. But Huitzubing was wearing full combat plate soaked in enemy blood. Kneeling wasn't physically happening. I didn't care. I stepped forward, grabbed both his arms, and held him steady. He tried to step back, probably worried about getting blood on me, but I gripped tighter. To laugh and drink the blood of the Xiong Yu. Huitzubing, you are worthy of being a Dragon Clan legend. Worthy of being MY General. Huaxia Territory's name rings across the world because of you. The Dragon Clan is proud because of you. Every word carried through the pavilion's acoustics and straight into the World Channel projection. A million lords heard it all. Wait, Huaxia Territory? This is the Lord of Huaxia, the one who unlocked the Pioneer Achievement? The world announcement, first in history Huaxia Territory Lord, the same one that the level 9 Golden Lion Territory Lord Caesar personally tried to befriend and got ignored. Oh, well then, everything makes sense now. Strong people are strong everywhere. Dude just casually pocketed an entire orange realm. Meanwhile, the Samurai Alliance Vice Master was having a full-blown meltdown. Baka. Impossible. The realm was unstable. The enemy charge failed because of a glitch. The Dragon Clan got lucky. I formally request that the Dragon Clan Lord be forced to redo the challenge. And Tangda, neck literally red with rage, glanced at Washington standing beside him, face dark as a thunderstorm, then turned back and spat through clenched teeth. I also request a redo of the Dragon Clan's challenge. Luo Kursin, Sweet little Luo Curson, who'd been too scared to speak this entire time, suddenly found her voice. On what basis? She stepped forward, fists balled. Why should we redo anything just because we scored high? How do you know the enemy stopping wasn't our general skill? Did you even consider that? That one sentence shut both of them up. Because that was exactly what they were afraid of. If the Xiongnu stopping was a skill, a legitimate, system-recognized ability, then there was nothing to protest. And if it was a skill, that meant Hua Xiubing had beaten them so badly, so publicly, in front of over 1 million lords from every race on the continent, that their reputations were permanently destroyed. But Tangda didn't care about face anymore. What he really cared about was the 200 million resource points he'd bet. That money belonged to the Americana Alliance. He'd talked Sasha into giving it to him. He'd borrowed Washington from his father. He'd smuggled 200 rounds of special ammunition. This was supposed to be his victory lap, his moment of glory. And some random Dragon Clan lord with a teenager on a white horse had turned it into the worst day of his life. So he did what desperate people do. He borrowed a page from the Stick Clan playbook. Setting aside the facts, the Dragon Clan should not have won. I have strong reasons to suspect the Dragon Clan lord cheated. I have full justification to demand a re-challenge.